everybody.
That was so quiet.
I know, I couldn't do the loud one. There's people setting up. I got a guy on a scissor lift. I didn't want him to fall off.
That would have been funny.
It would have been hilarious.
I just took a screenshot of it.
You took a screenshot?
Oh, yeah, we sound good.
We're good. Okay, good. Fantastic. We checked volume.
Yeah, baby.
If you ain't figured out by the black background and the beige tabletop, we are inside the Beaumont Civic Center for WhiskeyFest.
We're not in the speakeasy.
Functional gentlemen. We are your hosts, Roy Gravis and Bucky Pender. Bucky's the one with the light-colored hat. I had to rep Sherwan's stuff.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Since he sponsors the show, I had to
line therapy.
I had to rep his line therapy. Which, by the way, this is what you'll see me in tonight. I'm not changing clothes. I'm just going playing the hell with it.
Very nice.
Yes, I'm going professional.
It should be a nice. The weather should be good.
The weather should be really good. I think War Wagon is already here setting up. I think
that's what I heard.
That's what I hear. So we'll figure that out in a second. You got the tent with Buxton. Buxton will be here a little later. I don't think they're setting up right now. Yeah. You've got the New Offenders and Ethan Osborne.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's the music rundown. Food as always. Doors open at 5 for the VIPs.
Yes, please. Say that again for
Doors
those in the back.
At 5 for the VIPs.
Not 6.
Not 6.
Like your ticket says.
Yes. Your ticket says 6.
Be here at 5.
Be here at 5.
Before 5, preferably.
Yes. I would suggest getting here roughly about probably 4:45, 4:30, somewhere in there.
Yeah, because the line will start forming pretty quick.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. A little bit of setup going on right now. We're right across from Four Roses, which Bucky and I talked about the pre-show. We've been in the same spot. Everybody in front of us has changed. We're in year 3 now.
We stay the same.
Yes, we stay the same. Everybody else changes. Year 1, it was Brown Foreman.
Yes.
Year 2, it was Garrison Brothers. Year 3, we're looking at the Four Roses booth. Brett Elliott is in the building.
He
walking
is
around.
in the house.
Saw him. Barry Brenniger with RD1 is in the
building.
building.
House
we saw
with
him.
His beautiful beard.
And Dr. Wood is with him. Like they're walking side by side, almost arm in arm. It's fantastic. I love it.
They have been partners in crime all week,
I can
and
imagine.
it's awesome.
It seems like it's been awesome. I know the sponsorship dinner went well.
Oh my gosh!
You want to touch on that since you were here and I was watching Texas not do good.
Cheers, a little old fashioned. Thank you for tuning in. We are live inside the Beaumont Civic Center for Southeast Texas WhiskeyFest. So we had the sponsorship dinner last night. Brent Elliott was here, gave an amazing speech. And I'm not gonna lie, I think he had a blast. Like I really think he truly had a good time.
He seems like he did. I overheard his conversation earlier with people, and he said they went to a local brewery, which I'm assuming he went to Buxton's.
Yes.
And
they started. Once they finished up, and we all went outside for Andrew Duhon, who performed last night and was absolutely amazing. Brent Elliott kind of just hung out outside for a little while. He did try some Buxton beer. Overall, I think everybody had a great time. We raised a lot of money for Cure Rare Disease, which is what last night's was all about for sure.
That's what the whole weekend's about, really.
Tonight is really all about it. And tonight, it's not as, I guess...
Give us your corporate answer. Go ahead.
Prevalent, because tickets are already sold for the event, right?
Yes, they are.
So the money's not going to be...
Right.
It's already done.
It's already, yes.
Tonight's all about having a great time, the whiskey community coming together, and just enjoying what we have and what Southeast Texas Whiskey Fest and all of these vendors are offering.
Absolutely.
I think it's so much. I'm excited.
It's such a blast. And I know this year is probably, I feel I can say this and not be the corporate answer part of the show. This year's a little more special for you because you had a little bit of hand in this.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of thumb in this one. All the signs you see around on the barrels are all mine.
Oh.
The slideshow that you'll see tonight will be mine.
Is that the Canva thing or the thing that got ordered that I saw on the email? And was that the order?
Oh, okay. No. I had to order some other stuff.
I saw some stuff and I'm like,
no.
Okay, he'll tell me if I need to know.
No, so we had those printed by a local print company.
Okay.
They do an awesome job with anything we send them. But
I need to find out who that is because I got to get some maps.
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
city at some point. I need to find out who I use.
What is going on? We got a Hemingway brother in the house.
Hemingway. They had a good time last night from what I kind of saw. They were at Mr. Mike Hyatt's for the bottle show.
Big Chief. He is in a black quarter zip, I believe, or hoodie. It's a black hoodie. Just yell Mike.
No, I've been trying to find him without my boss seeing me find him because I want to hug him.
Oh. He gave a heart-wrenching speech last night.
I'm sure he,
and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. I'm going to tell you now. Yeah. So I was sitting.
His story is.
I was sitting right up front videoing,
it brings you
crying, trying to figure out how to stay centered on him. Yeah. So he is floating around. He's in a black hoodie and shorts.
Yes.
You'll see him.
Not hard to miss. Very much.
So
I'm trying to catch him without Debbie seeing me.
But yeah, so if you can't tell, it touched literally everybody, from the servers, the volunteers,
We're not trying to do it live or nothing.
It's fun. That's what this is all about.
I know it is. I just felt like being there.
She could have sat down and.
No.
But I mean so we're in year 3 of Southeast Texas Whiskey Festival.
Yes, we are.
This is the first year
Wonderful.
Mike Williams has given a speech at the sponsorship dinner.
I noticed.
And wow.
I'm sure it did. His speech,
Like-
know you wasn't there, but his speech at the clay shoot
Was it good?
was good. It brought me, and it takes a lot to get me to move my emotions sometimes.
Right.
But his speech at the clay shoot damn near did it. And I can imagine in the
Oh,
space
my
and
gosh.
form that he had last night, I'm sure there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
You turn and look, and some people are like trying to
They're trying to fight it.
look.
You can
Right,
tell.
they're fighting it, and they're all looking over at Miss Catherine,
Of course,
his wife,
yes.
or
yes.
Dennis, and you can just see it. It's just.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But-
gut wrenching for sure.
But yeah, we've got people already setting up.
You always got to go there. Rubbing a nipple and flipping a tongue all the time. I
Why?
don't get it.
What is going
I
on?
don't know. It's
But like
wild.
we were saying,
Yes.
we've got some people setting up right now. We've got Four Roses right in front of us setting up.
Yeah.
Again, Brent Elliott will be at the booth, so
yes.
be ready.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
It looked like Texas Shine Company, I believe, is right here across from us.
Yes,
diagonally?
yes, they are. They are caddy corner. Yes, caddy corner.
I know the Sazerac booths are being set up
Yeah,
as
I
of
know
this morning.
they're on the back side. I saw them.
I saw, I think Buffalo Trace, Five Trail, Yave, Four Sixes was over there. Yave has tequila has a
Don't
separate
forget,
booth.
if you're in the boutique kind of mood, whiskey and sparkle. Those ladies were setting up as I was doing my thing on my
I saw
phase
as you walked around.
to test microphones. That's how we test new equipment. We go.
Did
to
they
my
say what it was?
It's
or?
a boutique. It's a boutique.
It is a
It's-
boutique?
It's both. It's got some stuff for the men and got some stuff for the women. So yeah, bring
Cool.
your credit cards. You're gonna need them.
Bring
A lot of
that
good,
monies.
a lot of good stuff going on. Freaking
Perez said, "Dang early for some nipple rubbing. Going to be a great night."
freaking Eric, man, walking around rubbing the nipple, and flipping the tongue.
He's gonna make the vendors uncomfortable.
Well, I mean,
Luckily, all we have to do is say, "Well, he's no longer a Longhorn employee. We can't
no,
control it."
no. Now it's even worse because he's a volunteer.
Right? Yeah.
Now
No.
it's even worse.
We accepted it as a volunteer.
Yes.
Dang. Who else? I saw somebody else was RD1 is setting up.
RD1's setting up. You got the guys from Giglio.
Oh, American
who-
Metal. The American Metal whiskey. They brought in a whole ass
Yeah.
motorcycle.
They the ones that had the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that bike when I was doing my.
So they're
pre-walk.
fairly new to the Texas market.
Okay.
We just got them in Longhorn Liquor.
And they're called American what?
American Metal.
Okay.
It's named after the American Metal bike shop.
I have to check them out.
Yeah,
I may
hear
do a
some
walk
pretty good
around
things about
Later,
what they're
we've got
doing.
new equipment and stuff to work with. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of want to see if we can get some more people setting up before you
Yes.
do get up and walk
Yes,
around.
I
Because
do
right now
too.
it's a little sparse.
A little bit.
I think as we move, so we're still trying to figure out the perfect time for this. Because we've done,
Man, I'm beginning to think
10
now,
o'clock?
I'm beginning to think now it's like 1 to 3 and
Maybe.
just tell the wives,
just, hey, we're staying.
we're staying, just come, show up. But then
'cause
I
we've
gotta
done
worry about
super
will
early,
the-
like 10
will
o'clock.
The equipment fit in the limo? Are we gonna
Yeah,
have to have
right.
the vehicle stashed?
We've done 10, we've done 12, we've done 11.
Yeah.
We're all over the place. But it
Yes.
seems like people are getting more and more comfortable setting up the booths.
They are.
I can see all of Maker's Mark stuff in the back
Oh
there.
yeah, it's back there. Yeah,
They're going to have like a whole corner. So make sure you make your way all the way to the back and check
Yes.
out the Maker's Mark
Yes.
corner. Milam and Green. So we're at the entrance.
Yeah, we're at the
it's right over
front.
here, the entrance.
Yes.
So when you first walk in, you're going to see the photo booth. There's a beautiful Four Roses barrelhead on it. Take your photos.
Did you come up with the where everything is neat, by the way?
Dennis.
Okay.
Dennis came up with
Good
that.
for Dennis. I thought that was
I
yours.
just kind of
but
fancied it up a little bit.
I got to give Dennis some credit there.
That was a good one. But
100%, yes.
you'll see some signs, and then if you come over to the right, all the way in this corner, Milam and Green is going to have like a whole 20-foot section
Nice.
that they're setting up. That's going to be really cool. But
We like Milam and Green. Heather Green and the crew out there are doing some
So-
really good stuff for Texas Whiskey.
I brought over a list.
Yes, you did.
I saw you looking through it.
Yes,
Are
I
there
did.
some of the booths like that stood out when you were running through it? Is there anything that stood out to you?
To me, I'm kind of looking forward to the Jepup Creed.
Yes.
I think it's how you pronounce it. I'm kind of excited for them. Of course, our friends at Giant Texas, I see they're on the
Always.
roster. Charles Goodnight. Now the American Metal thing because of that
Yeah.
gorgeous motorcycle they've got out front.
Absolutely.
What else? Four Roses, of course. RD1. High West.
Texas Tell is
Texas
back.
Tell's back.
Speaking of which, real quick,
Yes.
Texas Tell, I think it's going to be James and Greg
James and Greg. Okay.
are going to be out at the Dallin Road Longhorn location
Hey, it's Mike Williams.
from now until about 2 o'clock.
2-ish, yeah.
They'll be out sampling out some whiskey, so
There you go.
a little bit of a pregame.
Yes,
You can
I like
start
it.
there. Get you a
it.
bottle of Texas Tell. It's good local stuff out of Galveston.
And of course, you got your big boys. You got Proximo Kentucky Owl, which Kentucky Owl you can't go wrong with. Brown Foreman again, Sazerac. I'm curious on this High and Wicked though.
High and
I'm
Wicked.
curious on what that is. I'm gonna check that one out.
That's an information.
Yeah, stats and information. Garrison Brothers, still Austin. We love those guys. We just got back.
Man.
We'll touch on that next week. We're not gonna.
I'm gonna ask. Hey, did y'all bring our barrel?
Yes. Really, yeah. So, cat out of the bag. We did a barrel at Still
Oh,
Austin.
okay. So it's straight bourbon.
Okay.
Interesting.
I got
didn't-
you. High and
didn't,
Wicked.
Didn't know
Fantastic.
anything about them. Pretty cool.
Let's see what else. We got Hard Truth, which is always a good one.
Bama Bourbon
Frey
Hunter, by the way,
Ranch.
is in the comments. Thank you for tuning in.
He's
Jake.
in town, actually.
He is in town from
Yes.
Alabama along with Blythe.
Yes, which is OK Bourbon.
Okay,
Fire.
_ Bourbon Fire.
Yes.
But those guys will be here tonight as well.
Dripping Springs.
We'll be here. Scotty
Copper Spirits.
came in from Ohio with
Yes.
a friend of
As
his.
long as he doesn't say OH to me, we're good.
Tom, cheers to you, brother.
If anybody
Uh,
says OH, I'm punching him in the
Let's
face.
we need to get Tom and Limestone Farms out here.
Yes, yes.
Hopefully in the years coming.
we need
could-
to
I
get
would love to have
Limestone
y'all out
on
here.
the functional gym.
Yes, absolutely. I think that'd be a ton of
pretty
fun.
cool.
But Jake did confirm Texas Tell is currently at Longhorn Liquor.
Okay, cool. So Jake's
So
at Longhorn.
go check those guys out. Try some of
Yes.
their stuff. It really is good coming out of Galveston.
Yeah, and then like I said, you got Milam and Green.
Are there any non-whiskey booths that?
There's a couple of the Scotch booths kind of interest me. You know,
Right.
You got Brooklotic, which is always good.
What was the one last year that had the
Lindelof.
Garrison brother finish?
Oh God.
Clonakilty?
Yeah, Clonakilty.
They're back
yes.
again this
Right,
year, I
Clonakilty's
believe.
Back. Yeah, I saw that.
That one seemed to be really popular.
Apparently, there's another event coming up. It's getting a lot of promotion. Southeast Texas Craft Barbecue Fest. I see
Yes.
they got a couple of spots going on.
Yes, they'll have a pretty big booth, end cap booth over
Old
at the
elk. I
end.
want to see if I can get me another elk pour spout.
I know,
from
right?
somebody, 'cause we have one already.
We've got one. I
Yes,
think I've got 3 at the house.
Lord.
So we're gonna be pouring all the bourbon
Through elk heads.
through elk heads for the rest of the year,
Yes.
and it'll be a clean one every time.
Yes, we
But-
are. I love it.
It's the Ohio State, sir.
No, it's not. I felt they kind that scoop sack.
Now you're
thing.
just getting it from everybody.
I know,
George
I know.
Woodcock over on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. He said OH.
Yeah, OH.
Oh,
Is he going to be at Whiskey Fest? If I know, I need to know what he's wearing so I can punch him in the face.
Everybody show up
OH.
in scarlet and gray.
And prepare for a fight if you do. Because
We can do that
I'm
as soon as-
refraining
yes.
from wearing burnt orange, so yeah.
Absolutely. We are excited, Tom. And we'll do something as soon as the distillery gets opened up.
It's the other half of the right. Miss Jamie, how are you?
Thanks for volunteering, ma'am.
Yes, we love Jamie on the show. Jamie's fantastic.
Um,
What else you got? Other than people giving me shit for my Longhorns kind of throwing up an egg last night. It looked good for 3.5 quarters.
okay.
And then the last half of the fourth quarter just kind of fell apart. Like literally. Like there was the strip sack heard around the world from Jake Sawyer, who by the way is not a very fast man,
No?
and said in his post-game interview he blacked out halfway through his run. Yeah.
Well, all right.
So I don't know. I guess the body was still moving, but the odds.
Jake, seriously? He
What'd he
said
say?
if Texas played better, they would have won.
Well, no shit.
You, sir, should be a coach.
Yes, yeah. Sign the blind man to ESPN, please. Go ahead and sign him.
That's the best analysis we've had.
Color commentary at its finest. God.
No, man.
I still need to know if there's a whiskey company that makes their labels in Braille. I'm going to try and pitch that to somebody for the otherwise visually handicapped.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say blind. That's kind of cruel of me to do. So, yeah. Fun stuff. Everybody give me shit. Go ahead. I can take it. It's fine. I went through almost a six-pack of Angry Orchard by myself last night because of the game, yes. And they're like, Angry Orchard? What, he doesn't drink real beer? No, he just likes Angry Orchard for the taste.
I mean, every now and then a good cider's not a bad
It's
thing.
not. It's really not. And it's gluten-free, so I don't have to worry
There you
about
go.
being kind of healthy.
If that's what you want to call
Well,
it.
I mean, it's better than the alternative. But, yeah, so,
How's the rest of your week been?
busy. Good Lord.
So
That
busy, right?
Screaming trip to Austin and back was ridiculous. And
I
yours
know
was
it.
worse because you had to work Thursday.
I literally dropped Dana off and went straight here. Like, I didn't even get in my truck. I stayed in her car
Oh, wow.
and just came straight to the Civic Center.
He said, hey, here's the keys to my truck.
Yep, here, just in case. Gotta go.
Okay, he's got to go.
But
Oh,
No,
so that's good. I didn't know where you were working at on Thursday, but when Brandy told me as we were leaving, because, my wife has to shop on the way back.
well, of course.
I hit 2 academies of James Avery and a Bell's on the way back.
Nice.
Yeah. So, which part of that was mine. I needed a new rain jacket. Columbia jackets are hard to find, especially because they're so damn expensive. So I got one for 50% off.
Damn, son. From where?
Bell's, actually.
May have to try to find one.
Yeah.
They're. I mean, I love Columbia
jackets,
stuff.
I do
but
too. That's where I
They
got
get expensive.
my gold jacket, as everybody's referred to it now affectionately.
Oh, because the inside
Yes.
is that
I walked in
their warm technology
I
or
walked into
whatever.
work
It's
the other
gold.
day and I said, I love gold,
Oh,
baby.
shit.
It was all over the place. It was fine. When in doubt, whip it out.
Everybody
Yes.
that's watching, if you're going to be here tonight, what's a booth you're most looking forward to? Is there something you're hoping to get to try as far as
There was
VIP
two I forgot to
pours?
mention. I'm sorry. So sorry. There are 2 that I really forgot to mention that I want people to go by.
Okay.
Other than Charles Goodnight.
We all know.
Iron Root,
Yes.
Bent.
Yes.
Go see those guys at Iron Root and Bent.
I got a message from Raleigh, from Bent. He is on the way.
Yay.
So hopefully they'll be here soon. Maybe we'll still be live. Maybe we won't. But either way, y'all have to be able to,
Yes.
y'all have to go check
Full
out
show.
both of those. We're excited to have them out here. Like the post said the other day on Southeast Texas Whiskey Fest Facebook and Instagram, this isn't a Texas exclusive event.
No.
But we have a lot of Texas whiskey companies out here.
And we got a lot of just companies in general. I mean, and I don't know, like Hoteling and Company, I think is how you pronounce it. They're in number 6 or at number 6 position. Those people.
Hoteling?
Hodling, whatever.
I don't know what
Stats
that is.
and information.
Stats and information.
Yep. Next Century is another one I'm not familiar with.
Who is it?
Next Century. They're in the number 12
So there should be a lot of good things to check out that we don't know.
Edrington, I'm assuming they're a Scotch. It sounds kind of Scotchy.
Another one that I don't know if a lot of people are going to be familiar with. I've seen a lot more of it popping up on social media. But Lasso Motel is going to
Yes,
be here.
Lasso
They're
Motel,
based
that
out of
was another
Texas,
one that I was looking
but
at.
they are sourcing Kentucky whiskey
Okay.
or bourbon.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good booth because they have. I'm hoping they have all of them, but they literally have probably 15 expressions
Oh, wow.
out.
Gotcha.
So that should be a good booth for everybody to check out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of.
There really is.
It ought to be
There's
new and
a lot
interesting.
of stuff going on. Their website looks amazing, by the way.
Oh wow!
Sitting over
So
here
they have all
peeking.
kind of stuff. Luxardo cherries,
Yeah.
Hirsch,
Ooh, interesting.
Speyburn,
Okay.
Old Pulteney,
Okay.
Rider's
So
Tears.
Tiger's Tears. Interesting.
So they're hopefully they'll have a little bit of everything
There you
out
go.
there.
I like it. I like it. Good
Oh look,
stuff.
they also deal with Nika, straight from
Nika,
the
yeah.
the Japanese whiskey.
There you go.
Old Potrero out of California. So they deal with a lot of different companies.
There you go.
So hopefully that booth is really cool to check out. They should have a lot of stuff.
Slicker Beverage. Interesting name.
Beverage.
Yes.
What's going on, Shelby? Glad you could tune in, buddy.
It's a Shelby. Woohoo. Blue Ridge. Augusta Distilling, which I keep hearing good stuff about.
Yeah,
Lalo,
I've heard some really good stuff about
probably one of the best tequilas on the market, in my opinion. Lalo, it's really good. I'm not really a tequila.
No, me neither.
I would prefer theirs over everybody else. William Grant, of course, Heaven Hill, Austin 101, I mean, the list goes on and on. It's a good list. 2020 Beverage, not familiar with them, but I don't know what they do.
I'm assuming they're more of like a
Yes.
distribution type company,
Sounds
kind of
like
like
it.
this hodling and company.
Rebecca Creek is another one that's kind of good. I hope they bring their Spanish moss.
The Spanish Oak.
Spanish Oak, sorry.
I think
not
you said
Spanish
that the
moss.
last
I
time
did
you brought
too.
them up, Spanish moss.
'Cause I thought it was Spanish moss. I see a JD.
You see a JD.
He's in the very back, yes.
JD. Penelope will
Yes,
be here.
Penelope will
For
be
those
here.
that can't tell my excitement.
Yeah, he's giddy already. He was skipping earlier.
I can
everybody.
see him.
He was skipping. He does exist.
It's been so long.
It wasn't that long for me. I
know,
him,
you just
I
saw him out
at
at
Smoking Barrel.
Smoking
yeah.
Barrel. So let's talk about that for a second. And I know it's a completely different event.
It is completely
There's
different.
barbecue, there's
Yes,
whiskey,
yes.
there's kind of this. But as far as like this atmosphere versus what you were a part of at Smoking Barrel, differences, similarities.
Difference off the cut is their proceeds go to the United Way of Southwest Louisiana. So
Still a great cause.
Still a great cause, yes, 100% great cause. The food was okay. I got lucky enough to be set next to the Hut, which if you
Right.
don't know them, they have a place in Sulphur and a place in Orange. Amazing boudin, good barbecue. You can't go wrong. They were really good. The event itself was outdoor, so that was a little different.
And it was in.
It was in Lake Charles at the
June?
courthouse. No, it was in November.
Oh, was it that
Yeah.
soon?
Yeah, it
I
was
thought for
early
some reason I was thinking it was like summer.
No, it was early November.
So the weather should have been half-assed
Weather was
nice.
okay. Yeah, I mean it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great neither. I mean it was kind of, November down here is kind of different.
Still muggy.
Still could be muggy, could be cold, could be muggy, could be hot. Who knows? But yeah, it was a really good event.
As far as like selection and stuff
Selection was good. Balcones was there. Let me think. Oh God, JT Melick.
who sadly won't be here tonight.
I know, who sadly won't be here.
Not happy about
Balcones
that.
won't be here neither, from what I understand. I don't think.
No, so
Yeah,
they should be here,
they should be.
but it won't be Charlie this
No.
year. What's up, buddy?
It will not be Charlie. I don't even see them on the.
They may not. I know Andalusia is not going to be
I
here
knew
as
that.
well.
Yeah, that broke my heart. I wanted to see
So
Mario.
we're losing a couple Texas whiskeys, but we're gaining a couple.
Yes.
Oh, 1845.
Yeah, 1845
should
is going to be
here as well,
Yes.
which is another new one.
Again,
Stop it.
we've already had somebody comment on the nipple rubbing once.
We
And it was
haven't
Mike
even
Perez.
started drinking
so
yet.
take that for what it's worth.
Oh,
Who says what?
so are you drinking on the job?
That's great.
Would you like to join us for a second? We have an Eric Bernard.
Yeah, we do
He's
have
been
a
on the show a
Bernard.
few times.
I'm going to run him on 3.
This one?
Yes, that one. I'm going to run him on 3. Have a
So-
seat, buddy.
Friend of the
Seat,
show,
mic up.
What's
Stick it-
up?
stick it
Eric.
in
You're going to have to
your
stick it because your beard is going to muffle it.
beard. Stick it in your beard.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
We can't have nice things, guys.
Well, we'll disinfect later.
So, former Longhorn Liquor employee.
Turn Southern Glacier.
Turn
Now
Southern.
Southern Glacier, huh?
How's that
Yeah.
going? Let's talk
How's,
about the Southern gig.
Still
everybody
in the
hear me?
same
I
industry.
think so. If not, they'll let you know.
See how your
I know,
audio
that's-
is going. Just you talk?
Hello?
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah, we're
good.
good.
Okay, good. We're good.
Unmute.
So how's what's it like being on the other side of the liquor industry?
It's very different. I mean, I've been on the retail side for 10 and a half years, and going to the distributor side is totally different. Now I get to see their point of view and know the retail side point of view.
right.
So it's totally different.
Absolutely. So as far as Southern Glacier, the brands that you'll have out here, can you kind of point in that direction?
From
You know?
what I've heard, I don't know if we have any of our brands.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean,
You can run through the list real quick. It's
Yeah, you have it.
it
I
is
have
front
it
and back.
from
so-
well, we do Woodinville.
Okay, Woodinville.
Woodinville's ours.
Ooh, maybe they'll have their 8-year. I've heard it's really good.
Hennessy.
Is Glen Moran? Hennessy is part of my portfolio.
Okay.
A little bit of Hennessy going on tonight.
You got Hypnotic to go with it?
No, I don't have any Hypnotic.
Dang it. So disappointed.
Is
Funny.
Glen Morangi on here?
Oh,
That's a good question.
Are they?
good question.
I mean,
Glen
you
DeLocke
made the
is-
list.
I did not make the list, sir.
Well, who made the list?
Wasn't me.
I don't think Glen Morangi
Like
is.
Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Am I on the list?
Are you on the list?
You made the list.
No, I didn't make the list.
We
I'm not
took it.
employed
You're
by
on the
Roy.
list.
We took Roy off the list.
I got banned.
Can I get banned?
You're gonna get a wristband
Yes.
Banned later.
so that you can work.
Right?
No, I'm not working.
So, is there any boosts? I asked Roy this question. Is there anything that jumps off the page that you're excited to try? Something of theirs that?
To be honest, RD1.
There you go.
So
RD1, I gotta try.
RD1.
I gotta try some George Milam and Green. I gotta try their stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
As he walks up.
As he walks up.
That's funny.
You can tell the guys from Milam and Green, when they walk up, it's Texas Western is what it is.
I'm excited to see what their booth is going to look like.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to look amazing. I mean, they do.
And anything from Bareface.
Yeah, I always like
Nick's always brings
Yes,
some good
Nick is
cocktails.
the
But absolutely. Well, we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah,
and
I gotta get back to
we
work.
don't want to
after
hold
this.
you too long. A
Yes,
couple
get
minutes.
back
We
to it.
appreciate you stopping
Yes.
by.
Thank
Get
y'all
back
for
to
having
work.
me.
Yay.
Gotta get back to work.
Yay.
My wife said, Eric, I'm going to need a date, and so are you, since our husbands are working. You're working.
Is that English?
Eric? Well, no, you're not going to be working tonight, right?
No, I'm not working tonight.
So,
I will be here, so
My
I will
wife
be
would
your
like
date.
to know if you'd be her date.
I will.
That's not like you feel.
It's official. Eric is my wife's date.
Yay.
Alright,
Later.
Later, bud.
be
Get back to
good.
work.
Good Lord. You just got. Well,
It is what it is.
Y'all talk Jesus, y'all talk shit.
That's funny.
That is too funny. That's ridiculously funny.
So that's
It's a JD.
That's interesting. What's going on, bud?
I knew he'd get close. What? I know
Yeah,
he's
we
right
know
there.
He's right there.
We're not blind. I mean,
He's a local celebrity.
We're not blind or stupid. We may look stupid, but we're not.
Been a long day already.
What are you doing, guy? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're live. You want to sit in?
Come on, bud.
Undo him on 3 and we'll get JD in.
So for those that don't know, we've got a JD from, I guess, now it's what, all of Lux Row.
Yeah, so Luxco.
Luxco.
is
Let's go. Good job.
It's the branded spirits division of MGP for people that didn't know.
Nice.
What that
Very
was.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're happy to be here. But yeah, Penelope is a big driving force for that.
Of course, yeah. Absolutely.
As you may have seen, we've got exciting things that are happening with Penelope because of that partnership, and we're able to have some older age statements out there for our single barrels. And
Bring Havana with you. That's what I'd ask. And that's on everybody's mind.
Well, I did not, but I've been told that somebody set one aside for me to pour tonight for
very
our
nice.
special guest.
Very nice.
So the early group will get that.
Very
VIPs.
nice.
Be on the lookout.
I bet it'll go fast.
I bet it will
Probably.
too, because I hear really good things about
Yeah.
it. If it's anything remotely like Rio, I'm
Yeah.
excited. I love the Rio.
Well, and Rio's coming back again in March.
Yay!
Yeah, so now
That'll
I've
be what,
been
batch
recorded
5?
saying that, so that's awesome.
Batch 4 or 5?
This would be 5, and there'll be more of it. That's the other thing too. We're going to have more and more of these limited time offerings. They'll still just be once a year, and then for Havana that you were just talking about, that's going to be our Penelope bourbon that's then finished in rum cask.
Yes.
Cuban rum cask. So that's where it gets the Havana name.
Not just any rum.
Yeah. So and then we have the maple finish after that.
Right.
So after tasting it and experimenting with it, Danny, our master blender, was like he needed something a little bit more than just the rum. So that's when we jumped in and we did the maple syrup, and that was actually a pretty cool thing too, because we had given our old Penelope barrels to a maple syrup company.
Okay.
And then
Awesome.
they put their maple syrup in it, aged it in there, and then now they're selling a bourbon barrel aged maple syrup.
Wow. Nice.
And then when we got the barrels back from them, that's when we put what had already been in the rum cask.
Nice. Very nice.
So yeah, so that's exciting. We got our new
Absolutely.
peach old fashioned that we'll be pouring tonight.
So good.
Yeah, and then our weeded, which will be part of our everyday. So
That
some
one's really good
fun
too.
stuff
For
coming around.
right at about $40 on that weeded.
Right, that's right.
It's going to be hard to beat.
Price point.
As far as like weeders, if you're a weeded fan, That's going to be a hard one to beat at that price
Very
point.
hard. Very
Yes.
hard. So.
And then I've told everybody that will listen, as far as that peach old fashioned goes, my favorite part about it is that you can taste the whiskey.
Yeah, it's
It's
still
not
80
just
proof.
overly sweet.
Right.
It's not artificially flavored.
Right.
Like, you don't get all those weird flavors. It comes in and it's very, very nice.
Yeah, it's dangerously delicious, actually.
You want to know what's dangerously delicious that y'all make? That toasted marshmallow.
The marshmallow toast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the marshmallow toast. We got some. Oh my gosh!
I think they had that last night at the
Yes,
dinner.
we
and-
did. And I had a first opportunity to try the 98 proof 10-year single barrel that just got released as well. It was
Good.
very good.
Yeah, both are very good.
So what else are you pouring in addition to Penelope?
So other than Penelope, I brought out some of our Yellowstone bourbon. Specifically our new, I mean, I'm going to have it all on the table, but the newer stuff, like the rum cask finish that we have from Yellowstone. We have a toasted version of Yellowstone now. So both of those will be on the table. I remember, I think it was this time last year, you first tried that toasted
Yes.
Yellowstone. And honestly, you were very honest with us. Once it opened up a bit, that's when you were gravitating toward it.
Yes.
And then I brought the limited edition from Yellowstone. I'll have that for the early birds as well. That's
the black
square.
label,
Yeah,
right?
the black label is like more of a square bottle,
Okay.
shorter bottle. But that one we do it once a year. Typically a finished product in a wine cask or something to that effect, and so that'll be on the table. We'll see what else I have in my car, man. I'll throw it up there. So,
He's like,
Ezra,
You never
show up
know.
and find out.
Ezra Brooks port cast finish. That'll
There you
probably
go.
be up there. I got a little bit of minor case rye, the unsung hero of Luxco.
Yes.
It's a 51% rye finished in
It's a
sherry cask. It's
Great
delicious.
rye.
So yeah, we got plenty to pour over there. I don't think we'll run out tonight.
And y'all, and so I'm going to ask you an off whiskey question.
Okay.
Because I noticed this is Smoking Barrel, and you made me think of it. Y'all were known at Smoking Barrel for your swag, because I swear every Nice baseball player I saw
Oh, yeah.
was walking around
They
with a
took
Rebel
all my
Bourbon
hats.
hat. And I walked up to him and said, "You don't have any Rebel hats left, do you?" And he goes, "No, but I got this."
Yeah.
So,
But I have this.
But I do have this. Well, it's funny because being the beginning of the year, right after Christmas, I am low on swag.
Of course.
But I will have some swag up on the
There you
table.
go.
And some of that'll be special stuff too, like request only, take care of my people, bring you guys a hat or something to that effect.
course.
But yeah, so yeah.
Awesome.
But
We're excited. That's going to be one of my first
Yes,
stops as soon
of
as
course.
as soon as
the
they
doors
let you
open.
out.
As soon as they let me
soon
do
as they let
something,
you
that's
do
going to be my
something.
first stop. Always is every year.
That's a good one.
Good.
Can't wait for everything. Third year in a row.
It's good. It's getting bigger and better. It looks.
Bigger and
so-
better, and things are only going to keep going up from here, and we hope y'all
You
keep
guys are
coming
getting
back.
Oh, we
bigger
will.
and better.
How about-
I mean,
yeah.
that's the whole thing.
Well, yeah, it's all, we're all growing together, aren't we?
Yeah, I feel it.
And it's been cool, especially like this one, because it really forces me to make sure I get down here to Southeast Texas, and of course everybody appreciates it. And I mean, you mentioned Smoking Barrel. I was actually in Lake Charles yesterday because I was like, well, I'm so close,
Nice.
may as well go say hi to them
Right.
too. So went over there, had lunch, got to see some of our retailers out there, and then here, of course, stopped by Longhorn.
Yes.
But checking in on some of the other folks out there too, because we are really all in this together. So, but yeah, happy to be here.
How often do you get out to Kentucky and?
Kentucky now, I get out here. I get out to Kentucky more than I get out to Beaumont. But I'm looking to change that this year. Be very
Somebody
strategic.
just drove a truck into the
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the Jack Daniel's bottling.
Yeah,
Oh.
they're over there. They were taking tables down and making sure they're not running over my table.
Yeah, don't.
I didn't put the good stuff on the table yet, though. So
Yeah.
if they knock it over, it's fine. But yeah, I'll get out to Kentucky about once a quarter, and then I want to do the same with each market. So whether it's a Beaumont or Corpus Christi, just making sure that I'm taking care of what I call maybe a mini market. So not necessarily your Dallas.
We all know
we'll
they
just,
take
we'll
up
just
all
hate
your
on
time.
them. We'll just keep hating on them. So,
Yes.
but yeah, man, Dallas takes care of itself. So it's, but yeah, happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lux, I visited Lux Row for the first time a couple weeks ago. Absolutely freaking gorgeous place.
It's very
I picked
beautiful.
up 2 of the 11-year Founders Reserves.
Yeah,
Can't wait. I haven't tried them yet, but
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
they're good. Do you remember which ones you got? Which lots?
I think B and E.
B and E.
If I'm not
Okay,
mistaken.
E was one of my favorite. I will say D was my favorite.
That's what everybody said.
But then I also realized, that's the one we had the fewest bottles of.
yeah.
I'm like, of
So
course.
as soon as I walked up, the lady was like, "Look, if you want D, you're not getting it.
It's not
I was
happening.
like, God dang it.
Yeah.
She said it was the first one to go.
It was gone. I tried to.
How was that event?
I was even working that event.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, we got D, right? And they're like, no.
No.
I was like, okay. Well, I'll buy an E.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, E's great. I mean, they're all good. They're all similar but different. I think they might back over that table.
If you need to go,
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
just
gonna say, if you
watching
need to
them.
save
Okay.
your stuff by all means.
I will put my life on the line.
It's Jack Daniels. They got money. If they want to back over my stuff,
If anybody's going to do it, let it be Jack Daniels.
Like it's Jack Daniels and they've got money.
they do. It's
funny.
He's going to be moving some stuff around. But anyhow,
you got
So how was
James
the
over there, so that's
release event?
the release
Looked like
event
everybody
was
had fun.
awesome, and it timed out that I was already going to be up there for a barrel pick with a group in South Texas, so I was happy to be a part of it. But we did like a release party on the Thursday night before, invited a lot of people from social media as well. These guys
So y'all
with
had Tim
hundreds
from
of
the
thousands
Whiskey
of
Idiots out
followers, millions of followers out there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Tim was there. I mean, I could go through the whole list, but
Yeah.
yeah, we had a good time. And at that event we tried we tried everything, but definitely the Founders Reserves.
Yes.
So all the lots which go B, C, D, E, and F. There's actually an article in Whiskey Advocate that's talking about it right now. So that I would mention, get that mentioned to everybody. Go check that out about Mike and Danny and the meaning of the Founders Reserve to them. But then the single barrels, we got to try those out, and we got to try out the peach old fashioned and then the wheated for the first time. So then what's funny about the event is I had people locally that were like, well, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna camp out, I think. I was like, well, go for it, and
You're more than welcome.
you know that they do that for pretty much every bourbon drop in Texas has people camping 1, 2, maybe 4 days in advance. Some of the bigger ones, right? And so we're used to it. And they called up to Lux Row and they're like, "Oh, you don't? No, sir. We open, and people may line up an hour before we open." But you don't need to be here the night before. And he goes, I don't think they know what's about to happen.
Yeah,
I don't think they
so.
do either. So sure enough, he got out there. He said he got there about 4:15, and he was second in line. The other guy had gotten there about 15 minutes before. And they started lining up the night before, and it was not warm that night. I mean, this was, it was chilly. So they
Dedication.
Yeah, they took care of business, and gosh, when was that? November? I think it was in November.
I think it was late November.
November
Because the 21st was the last day
That's
you
right.
could pick up the reserved bottles.
of December,
Yeah.
right? The people that had reserved them.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the day we made it. December 21st.
Yeah, because they were sold. I think they've sold out of it by now. I'm sure, but the store. I mean, Lux Row is very organized, but and they managed it very well. Especially considering they weren't expecting that kind of turnout.
I don't think they realized what they were
Now
getting
that they
into.
know what they're up against, next year's 13-year release might be a big one.
I'd venture to say so. We were just kind of roaming around looking at the different merch. I was a little upset that the only Penelope polo they had was white, and if I wear white, especially at work in a liquor store or doing this,
barbecue
it's gonna
or
get
anything,
dirty as
yeah.
crap. Well, we came across that vest, and
Yeah.
that first thing my wife said was, "Do you want to be JD's twin?" I was like, "No, I don't want to steal his style."
I feel there's a height difference.
A little bit.
Well, I mean, as long as
Well, where
I
his
slouch,
height
yeah.
is, I make up for in roundness, so we equal out.
Yeah. Our forces combined.
Right.
It's the Wonder Twins.
Something like that.
Well, we'll see about finding you a Penelope polo that's not. I mean, they gave me a green one for the estate collection specifically, but it is very green, and I'm like, okay,
Simple green.
it's just a Penelope bourbon estate collection.
Make sure not to wear it on set.
Yeah, because I'll blend
Because
in.
you will blend in,
Yeah.
and you'll be a talking head.
No, that's awesome.
That's interesting. Actually, I may try that next year. Bring the
There you go.
green screen myself.
Heck
Green
yeah.
screen
Kind of
yourself
floating
to be a
around
floating
and
head.
backing up. Yeah.
That's
But yeah, thanks for having me. Let me
Yes,
visit with you
absolutely.
guys.
yeah, absolutely.
We'll stop by just as soon as we can.
Okay, well,
Yes,
you know
I'm
where I'll
going
be.
to be walking around here.
Everybody
in a little
stop
bit.
by the Penelope booth.
Yes.
If it's still there, if Jack Daniels didn't back it over.
Right.
I
If
think
it's
you're
not
good
crushed.
from what I can see from here. I think you're good.
There may be whiskey on the ground. You can just lick it up.
100%,
It'll be
yes.
fine.
I try not to talk about other brands. I should have just said some brand out of Tennessee. But
Yeah, the
anyhow.
Tennessee people.
Those
That black
Tennessees.
label.
It's their county process that helped them out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys.
no,
You know,
thank you for sure.
none of us would be here if y'all weren't a part of it too.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
thanks
This is a ton
again.
of fun.
No problem. No problem. Yay, JD from Penelope, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Give that man a round of applause.
Once again, JD from Luxco.
If he's
Penelope.
wanting to, yeah, absolutely.
You're wow.
Wow, that was okay. Yeah,
Did not expect that
did
at all.
not at all. Very nice. Let me go ahead and. Where's the,
Y'all don't happen to have a marker,
Yeah.
do y'all?
Look at that.
Man,
He's got
he
all
comes
kind of stuff.
prepared.
He comes prepared.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brent Elliott, master distiller
So
of Four
excited.
Roses.
So excited.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Good. How was?
Fantastic. Yes. How are you?
How did you sleep last
Very
night after our event?
I slept great.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm
Woke up to
glad.
a beautiful day here in Beaumont. So
Heck yeah.
Not too hot,
If you
not
want to
too
just
cold.
kind of clip that on wherever,
Put it on your,
okay.
wherever, somewhere.
whatever's easiest for you.
Flip it on there.
Okay.
So, I think everybody knows Four Roses.
hope so.
Obviously, I would think so. It's been around
Yeah, we do.
forever. But so just kind of, if you don't mind, just kind of start and give us a little bit of basic information, what you are hoping people take away from the event, and a little
Okay.
bit about just the brand overall.
Okay. Brand, we're an old brand. I think we're 136, 137 years this year. Wow. But to a lot of people, we still seem like a new brand because we were export only for so long.
Gotcha.
From the late 50s up until 2002, if you wanted Four Roses straight bourbon, you had to go to Japan or Europe. You could still get it here, but it was a blended whiskey.
Right.
But it was bottom shelf, not very good. So when we came back, when Kirin, the Japanese beer company,
Right.
acquired us in 2002, and we came back to the United States, we started just in Kentucky.
Okay.
And we really had a lot to overcome because people still associated us with a blended whiskey that frankly wasn't very good.
And at that time, blended was kind of a bad word.
Blended was a very bad word. You know, now when you talk blended, people are doing it with blending rye or different straight whiskeys. But in the true context of blended back then, it was you might have 80% grain neutral spirits, 20% straight whiskeys,
Right.
and then flavoring, colorings, other things that just really just to fool people into thinking it was an aged whiskey. So it was not a very good, very thin, not a good product. So we came back 2005, or I started in 2005. We were still just in the state of Kentucky. And then we started to expand outside of Kentucky, starting in 2006, 2007. Then within a few years, we're in all 50 states. That's about the time that the bourbon renaissance really started to kick in. And we've just kind of ridden that wave. We've gone from just one state, a few thousand cases, to close to 1 million cases here in the U.S. Wow. And we still have those markets overseas. Those are still healthy for us. But really the focus, all the growth has been here in the U.S.
I think that's really important, especially moving forward, because a lot of big brands, I feel like they wanted to try to shift or focus on that overseas market. When I truly feel like there's a lot of untapped markets just right here in the United States, and
Yeah, that's
I
what
think
we're
that's a
saying.
big deal.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to ask a hard-hitting question.
Okay.
What's your favorite recipe?
Always tell it's a hard answer.
I
when they
get
take
asked that a
deep
lot.
breath.
Yeah.
It's like,
And my answer is really unsatisfying and pretty long. It depends on, if you said what's your favorite at, say, 7 years, I'd probably say
Right.
OBSV.
Okay.
At 9 to 10 years, it could be an FK. It's a little more barrel specific there, batch specific. Start going out to 14, 15, 16. More often than not, I'll kind of lean towards the OESVs or OESKs. But I never speak in absolutes because there are always
No,
those exceptions.
yeah.
Always exceptions.
Oh, yeah, you'll stumble across one and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
hello.
This is a cue. This is the best barrel I've ever had. That could happen someday, or could happen next week, and I would not be shocked. And that's what keeps it interesting.
And is that kind of the thought process? Because I know you are starting to release single barrels now with specific recipes. It's the new Red Label single barrel, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the new single barrel collection.
So it's going to be, what, 2 a year for the next couple years? Or
So we're going to maintain the original OBSV, as you know. That's going to still be on the shelves
Right.
everywhere and always accessible. And then every year we're going to rotate 3 new ones in. Actually, have them
Look at there.
coming over here right now.
That's a gorgeous label, by the way.
Thank
Even
you.
the bottle.
Thank you for bringing those over. So this is the new label that will
Love
be
the
out.
roses. Yeah, that's a good touch. The rose engraving that y'all did, that's a very good touch.
So kind of, is that the thought? Like let everybody kind of find their favorite, or
That's
just something?
You know, you're obviously familiar with the private barrel program, which is similar because we have all 10 recipes, but the format of that is retailers come in, they select their own barrels, they happen to be the 10 recipes. So they're out in the market. If you go on a road trip, you have a week, and
Hit up 100 different stores.
and some plane tickets, you can go around and you can gather different recipes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, people do that, and people swap and share. So they're out there, but they're not that accessible. So this is a standard, you know, of course, you know, this year, if we run out, we run out. But we have a healthy volume. So we should be able to, you know, supply most markets with all 3 of these recipes through 2025. And then going to 26, we'll have 3 new recipes.
Awesome. I'm
And these
excited
are-
about them.
Oh, I am too. And it's really the foundation of what we do. You know, it's
Yeah,
the recipes.
right.
And there's nothing, you know, worse than explaining, you know, our uniqueness and having people get excited about it and then they ask you, well, can I try that? OESO sounds great. Can I try that? It's like, you can taste a little bit of it.
Yeah,
It's a small batch.
sorta.
You know, you can sort of deconstruct it. So, you know, historically we just had the OBSV and the single barrel. So now these will be accessible.
That's awesome. And so kind of along the same lines with the recipes, y'all just added 1 or 2 more new recipes,
Yeah,
correct?
two new mash bills.
What was the thought there? Because it always seems like everybody knows Four Roses for the 10 different recipes.
Uh-huh.
So what was the thought process on a new one?
It was really, if you look at it from the blending perspective, it's kind of like a palette. Right now we have those 10 flavors. It's just basically doubling that. So we have that many more flavors to work with to create either individual single barrels or to use to create small batches or whatever it might be. So what we did is, you know, our bourbons are kind of known for being high rye anyway. We've got 2 mash bills, 35%, 20%. So we've just done a little bit higher on the top end,
Okay.
43%.
Oh, wow.
And dropped down considerably on the low end, went from 20 to 10, so half the rye content. So I'm really excited about that too. The downside of that, and it's part of this industry that you just have to live with, is you have a drum roll and
Yeah,
it's
you know,
done.
you just gotta
And I get asked about it all the time.
wait.
It's like, well, yeah, I'll let you know in about 6 years.
Right, yeah.
5, 6 years. We'll know what we're going to do.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So why Southeast Texas Whiskey Fest? Why come down to Beaumont? What was it about this event that?
Well,
Or since
we've
you've been here
involved 2 years, and it's Jaylee Garrison, who's down here in Texas
Yes.
with us, and she's said great things about it. She's built a relationship with you know, the sponsors, the people who are running the show here, and so she's approached. Said it's a great cause, a great foundation, and it's like Texas in January. This is before I knew it would get cold.
Right. I'm so sorry for the weather.
He's thinking I'm going to wear short sleeves, you know, maybe
Right.
light pants.
Yeah, I had to buy a sweatshirt that says Houston when I landed.
So you look like a tourist. It's fine.
No, just kidding. Like, but it actually didn't work out. It was just terrible in Kentucky right now. But no, it's
Yeah,
just,
you're right. You
she said,
avoided
this
snow.
This is a great festival, and I've done it before, and so I was like, okay, nothing else. There was really nothing else in January. Just
Very
came up the holidays.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go down to Beaumont
I
and
like it.
Heck yeah.
be involved in this
Exciting.
festival.
So you'll be manning the booth tonight,
Yes.
correct? So everybody come by. It's right here as soon as you walk in the door. You
it's-
can't miss it.
Yeah.
We're going to do a master class as well at about 4:15, if I'm not mistaken, before
Yes.
the show starts. Can you kind of don't give too much away, but can you kind of give a little bit of a preview of what you plan on talking about in there?
I might end up talking about these a little bit. How about that?
Nothing wrong
Yeah,
with
just
that.
You guys gonna be there?
Just leave
I'll
it
be
to
there.
that because
Okay.
I know that's, yeah.
I think you're going to be in that class
Yes,
as
I
well.
am.
You'll be there too?
Yes.
I'll be
Yeah.
there too.
I wasn't
We'll
sure
actually
which
get to
one you
taste
were
some
going
of
to.
these.
Awesome.
Actually taste
I'm
all of
excited to taste through them and
Uh-huh.
talk a lot about them. And I know I was talking to somebody last night as Andrew Duhan was playing, and he was like, the Four Roses class is going to be amazing. Like, he's a huge Four Roses fan. He was like, I don't know if Mr. Elliott is ready for the questions I'm going to ask. He was like, I might take over the whole class. I was like, well, calm down.
I love the questions.
So I'm excited to see what we talk about. Hopefully, we'll be able to expand on that, and I'm sure everybody's going to just absolutely enjoy having you out here.
Well,
But we can't thank you enough on behalf of Southeast Texas Whiskey Festival and the Functional Gentlemen.
Absolutely.
You stopping by? This was. I didn't expect that at all.
I know your guy
really
here
didn't.
was like, hey, do you want him on? And I'm like,
So I asked if you had a marker. Do you mind giving us a signature? Let me.
Be happy to. And after mention too, at our booth, we're going to have make your own. Was it old fashioned? Is that what we're doing? Fun,
Oh, really?
interactive experience. Yeah. So
That's gonna
that's
be
what I'm back there doing. Is helping,
That's gonna be
helping
fun.
Abby prep for the.
I didn't realize y'all
cocktail
were going to be
class.
doing make your own. I knew she had talked about doing old fashions. I just didn't realize that y'all were going to do a make your own.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. That's going to be fun. I like the interactive booths are always some of the funnest ones.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
because it's more than just here's a cup, try it. Yeah, this
We'll
is
do
good
that
and
too.
walk
That'll
away.
be me.
Right.
I
He's like,
can't make a cocktail to save my life, so I'll be the guy just saying.
All right, so-
you want this one, this. But
There's-
on the other side, people get creative.
There's a very
He's brutally honest. He's like, I can't make a cocktail to save my life. I can pour whiskey all day long.
Oh,
all
yeah,
right. So
that's-
there's a
I've got that
controversial
down.
Love
topic.
Okay.
So I want to know your opinion. What's more important, the master distiller or the master blender?
You know, it's.
You can be selfish. It's okay.
Well, I can kind of because I'm kind of both. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
I lean more actually to the blender side. Like I spend way more time hands-on with the finished liquid
Really?
than I spend.
Right.
Usually, if there's any issue with distillation or any, obviously my input's important.
No,
I'm
absolutely.
making sure that testing the liquid that comes out every day. But my day-to-day is more often hands-on with the liquid.
Okay.
So, but it's like anything else. Like people ask me sometimes, like, what's the most important part of distillation, like, or the whole process? Like, well, the truth is, if any little piece of that
Right.
isn't working, that's the most important piece.
And a very big part of it is the team you put around yourself. Because
Oh, absolutely.
from assistant distillers to, a quality control team and just all of those things. I mean, you've got to have a
You
team
have to have
there.
all that, and we
You have to be able to trust that team.
They're a
But
fantastic team to put out a fantastic product.
yes, absolutely.
I mean, from everybody involved, y'all stuff is legitimately good.
Yeah, so good.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. First bottle I've signed this year, I think it says 2020. There's a 4 and a 5 right there.
It wouldn't be. I love
That
it.
kinda makes it
See,
special, yeah.
That wouldn't be. That's the only way to do it because I've done it on everything I think I've dated. Is
first time I've been to date this year.
25.
So that's some
Love it.
strange character, but that's
I know that's
a 5.
perfect. And thank you again.
Hey, my pleasure. All right, look forward to
Great
seeing
to
you guys
have
again at the
on.
seminar.
We'll see you tonight. We'll see you in the master class. And thank you for being here. Really.
My pleasure.
Ready,
Thanks, guys.
everybody. Good Lord. Yes, fantastic.
Thanks, guys.
Ladies
Total
and gentlemen,
shocker.
Brent Elliott,
Yes.
master distiller of Four
Good
Roses.
job. Thank you for
Thank you.
being like, hey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Appreciate you for bringing those over.
No,
Thanks
thank you.
again.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So make your own old fashioned.
As he's walking away, I had chills. I couldn't
How
think
cool
of,
was that?
I couldn't think of anything to say. I was like, so yeah.
Yeah,
I started to be like, hey, we pour one of these now. But
that just happened.
yeah, that really just happened. Fantastic.
So that's awesome. Can't wait for everybody to get a chance to. And I know it can get really, really crazy and hectic, especially with someone like that
Yes.
here. So I guess in the best way I can say it is, let's be respectful of his time.
Of course, yeah.
Let's be respectful of all of the other guests in the room. And yeah, ask him some questions, get him to sign a bottle if you've got it, or a book, or whatever the case may be. And let's just kind of
Yeah, no, definitely.
let everybody get an opportunity to do that.
I mean, there's
so cool that he just sat right
there's
here.
so many rock stars that are going to be here. I mean, you got JE that's here. You've got, Barry Brenniger from RD1. You got
Absolutely.
Brent there. He's here. You got the guys from Mile and Green. They're setting up right now off to my right.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing. I mean, it's almost a who's who at this point of who's going to be here.
I know
You
it.
got so many different people. The Jack Daniels band is literally like doing its thing right
Yeah,
now.
we got
You
the
can have-
engraving van here.
Yes.
But I mean, you even go back to years past. Like, yes, I understand Brent Elliott, Four Roses is a nationally known brand. He's a huge name in the bourbon industry. But look at years past. We've had Donis Todd here from Garrison Brothers.
That was an experience.
That's
for
a
me
huge.
last year,
Well, I mean,
yes.
the previous 2 years he was here.
Yeah, last
I mean,
year was
there's
really
just
special.
it just
At
seems
least
like
for
every
me, it was
year
really special.
there's somebody or something.
Come on. I had to flag Barry down. I saw him
Speaking
walking.
of the
Speaking
Bearded
of,
Wonder,
Yeah, rock stars
So
in
we've
general.
got
Good Lord.
the Bearded Wonder and Dr. Wood.
Yes.
Is there a
Dr. Wood?
Is there a better superhero team out there?
Yes, fantastic.
So we can slide another chair in if you want to join
Yeah,
with
I mean,
us.
we can slide
or
somewhere.
you sure? Look, nobody needs to see my ugly mug.
Yeah, no,
It's all-
I can halfway be off and halfway be on. I'll just kind of,
Act like we
Poached
love each other a little bit, huh?
yeah.
We all played sports. We've been in a locker room. It's fine.
Yeah,
Rugby, I was a forward, so we kind of just had a band pile.
there you go. It still amazes me, though, because you're kind of a small guy. No offense, Dr. Wood.
Oh, dang.
Kind of a small.
Just coming in with the heat.
Bucky and how you're kind
so
of small. Yeah,
Both
you're gonna
mics should be good to
growing
go. If y'all just want to kind of
threes in front of
wherever's
Barry.
easiest, so you don't have to hold the little tiny mic.
I think this. I'm so glad Barry walked over the model because this is the longest we went without drinking.
Oh, man, how could we not
Never had a
have...
show where we've gone an hour in and not drank
Normally,
anything yet.
last year it was like the first 5 minutes we were drinking.
Well, that's not fair because Rick immediately from
Rick,
Ghostwood
yes.
immediately ran over before we ever went live and sat down and was like, "Hey guys."
Yes.
Take my jacket off.
So-
It's going to ruffle the sound.
Formal introductions.
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, let everybody know who you are and who you're with.
Absolutely.
Since
So,
we called you Dr. Wood and the
Dr.
Bearded Wonder.
Wood. Where's our mic? Right here, right?
Yes,
So,
camera,
yes.
sorry.
Barry Brenniger. I am the co-founder and the national brand ambassador for RD1 Spirits. RD1 Spirits, registered distillery #1 out of Lexington, Kentucky. We're on the Bourbon Trail.
Heck yeah.
And my name is Jared Gollihue. I'm the Research and Development Master Distiller with RD1. I have a PhD from the University of Kentucky working on wood chemistry. So that's where the Dr. Wood moniker comes from.
Dr. Wood, yeah.
So, yeah.
And his signature looks just like a doctor, if you can
Yeah,
imagine
Of course
that.
it does.
They teach that. No, they break your
Is
hand.
that a class?
No, what you do is you start grad school, and then they have you stick your hand out, and then they whack your hand.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah,
Whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole.
I didn't get a normal hammer. They used a barrel bung.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ouch.
that's gonna hurt.
That's it's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, it's funny. My dad saw my handwriting the other day on our hunting trip, and he went, "It looks better than it used to."
Oh, he gave you a compliment.
Yeah, well, my handwriting's not good. It's just because I'm just not really good at handwriting. Yeah, I'm good at drinking bourbon. I've got that
Got
down.
that down.
Yeah.
I think
Well, I was just meaning. It's still not good, but it was
it's
awful.
improving. It's improving. So, just right off the bat, with that, when you got your degree or when you were going for it, did you expect to go into whiskey?
I kind of started out actually doing wine research at the University of Kentucky. So most people don't know this, but a lot of different states have started doing additional things with the wine industry because it's an interesting cash crop. So I started in that space, and then when I started grad school, they were like, well, you know something about alcohol, you know some stuff about wood, barrels is a nice overlap, and in Kentucky, what do we use most of our wood for? It's whiskey barrels.
Barrels, yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I got into the barrel space because of that, and then about 6 months into grad school, I went, I'm probably going to end up in the bourbon industry.
It's a good thing.
It
That's a
clicked.
good problem to have.
That's absolutely, yeah. We're very lucky to have Dr. Wood. Yeah, Jared, we're fortunate. You're going to see some funky stuff coming from RD1 this year and beyond, but we're super excited.
Y'all have had some good stuff come out already. That Amberana cask, or I'm sorry, I'm probably
Yeah,
mispronouncing
no,
it being as you have a
that's-
degree. So
that's right.
I'm going to say it the way my draw allows me to say it.
Nah, whenever I
That was a good one.
So can you let everybody know the conversation we had at Longhorn Liquor yesterday when y'all were there about Amberana, with it being called a Brazilian oak?
Oh, yeah.
So I thought this was very interesting.
Okay, well, this leads into a broader, interesting conversation. So the concept of what a tree and wood is kind of this funny idea, because we're describing a plant that all look the same. So if you say a tree, everyone goes, I know what a tree looks
Right.
like. But botanically, they're all different, and they have different genetics behind them, and they're in different families. So Amburana itself is in the pea and bean family rather than the oak family. So it's in a Fabaceae, is I believe how you would pronounce that, where oak is in Quercus. It actually has its own family. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
in that.
I thought that was very interesting. It's a bean, not an oak.
It's a bean barrel.
The Amburana bean barrel.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of trees that fall into that you might be familiar with, like the black locust tree.
Okay.
Is in that, and you can kind of see those things with their seeds. So like if you've ever walked by, you kind of see a seed pod that kind of is reminiscent of a pea plant or something. So that's
I thought that was very interesting.
It's kind of like the whole thing with coffee. Coffee's not actually a bean; it's cherry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets fun, and you know that's the kind of nerdy botany stuff that I'll like geek out on at times. I'm like, yeah.
So let's talk about, since you poured the Amburana, let's talk about it from two different perspectives. On your end, as far as being a national brand rep, co-owner of the company, and the craze that Amburana had and still has whenever people try yours. I still get told to this day that the RD1 Amburana is one of their favorite. A friend of mine in Illinois
Cookie all day long.
just bought one of the last few Longhorn Liquor picks that we did that was Amburana. So, I mean, and Kevin from Ohio just said RD1 Amburana is amazing. So, from your end, what is the Amburana? What is it about it? Just all the things.
Well, when we first came out with the Amburana, we were experimenting with different wood finishes. And the Amburana, when our sales team first sampled that, they were like, get this in a bottle now. And I think, we've seen a lot of Amburanas out there, and I think the key is a balance. Jared and I, we often talk about there's got to be this balance. It's got to have a beginning, a mid, and a finish ending that's harmonious. And I think what you find here, it's aptly named a wild adventure, because you taste this, you're getting cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, allspice. You're getting this wonderful ginger snap. A lot of people call it cinnamon toast crunch. I get cinnamon apple on that mid palate.
More like cinnamon sugar cookies.
Yeah, snickerdoodle.
I like the cinnamon apple thing.
It kind of reminds me more of like that apple strudel, kind of like I'm sitting down, I'm like, oh yeah, this is. Okay.
Yeah, and then it goes tropical. So the influence of the Brazilian wood, I get coconut on the finish. Some people get pineapple, but it's fun. It's a fun one. And what I love most about this particular wood finish, is that you can do a paper plane cocktail. The lemon in that paper plane really sing with the spices and enhance it. The lemon just really enhances that flavor profile. So this is a fun one just as a sipper, as a cocktail, or it's a fun one. And we're super excited. We're very fortunate that it's a 40% of our sales across the U.S. market. And the other thing is, we're looking to Dr. Wood, like, okay, bring us the next Amburana. What's the next Amburana?
How you gonna top that, buddy?
Yeah, because it really has taken the world by storm.
Yeah.
So, from a wood perspective on this, there's a very fine line, from what I understand, with Amburana. Like, you go a day too long and it's super overpowering. What is it about the characteristics of Amburana wood or bean or whatever you want to call it that makes it so polarizing?
Well, it's definitely a wood. We can say that with
No, I know. But if I don't call it a bean from now on, I'm not doing it enough justice.
Not doing the plant justice.
Yeah.
Well, it really, with Amburana, it highlights what you run across with all finishes, is that it needs to be done in a very deliberate manner. You have to have a goal and an end point. You need to pay attention to the amount you're adding. You need to pay attention to the time, the proof, and the environment that it's in, because you can get over extraction and get to a point where you're not getting that beginning, middle, and end. You're getting a one-note harmonious experience, which could be positive, could be negative, but that is, some products, that's the point. I always point to a lot of people really like Oreos or a Dorito, and you eat it and you go, bang, done. But with whiskey, we usually like a little bit more nuance. We like some complexity. We like to be able to sit there and pick it apart, and that's what we really strive for. Being able to try to balance that, and then also still has some of those bourbon characteristics underneath. So when I'm doing different experiments, I take the time and check to see, like, are we going to have this flavor profile that we want? It adds something. So first it has to do something, and then can we balance that with the underlying bourbon? And sometimes it's a question of how much influence we want from that wood, because you're right, the time really can impact it. You know, we have a 10-year-old Amburana product that we
I
put
saw
as an
that y'all
LTO.
released recently.
Yeah,
And we'll be sampling that today in the master class, and we should have a little bit left over for our good friends,
Awesome.
Bucky, and absolutely, it's a fun one, but you know it has different characteristics.
It does, and you know, it comes down to whenever I'm starting to work on a new product or even to start an experiment, I write what I call a thesis statement. I go, this is what I want to do, and this is how I want it to appear. Now, there's a difference between my wishes and reality a lot of times.
Right, often, yes.
Because when we're dealing with wood finishing, it gets, or any finishing, you get curveballs and things that you didn't think that you would get, and then whenever you're scaling it from a small scale experiment up to the barrel and then even like blending batches, it gets even more complicated because flavor chemistry is just vastly complex. So yeah, it's tricky with this, and we put the time and the effort in with these products to make sure that they have that balance, because you can go too far.
Yeah. Oftentimes quickly, so with something like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the botanist in you, I have a question.
Okay, yeah.
If you could work with any wood on the planet,
Oh,
what would it be?
Oh, okay. I'm waiting to hear this one.
Take
so
notes.
there was one wood that I looked up, and I said, I'm interested in doing it, but I found too many issues with it. And it was called the Wood of the Gods.
Whoa.
Yeah, wild name,
Yeah,
right?
wow.
It is a...
Which would be perfect for...
On a label or
Right,
yeah.
because whiskey was previously called, what,
Aquavita.
Aquavit.
Yeah.
So the water of life
Yeah, water
with
of life.
the tree.
Yeah, the tree, Wood of the Gods. It's
the
a
Wood of
really,
the Gods.
it's a really interesting wood. So like the, you know, I get like literature nerdy sometimes, and you can see in like the Old Testament where they're talking about burning this wood as an incense for dedicating the temple. You can see it's being used as like cologne and like $high colognes and stuff.
Fascinating.
But the problem with it is that it comes from really poor places, and it's an endangered wood species to begin with. So they're forcing it, because the way that this wood's made is they have a tree, and they go in and they drill holes in it, and then they cause a fungal infection. And what the plant does is it's trying to fight off this fungal infection by putting in this like resin and sealing the wood up. And it smells amazing. Apparently it's got a good flavor, but it turns out to be something like, I think it was like $100 a gram.
Wow.
Like, it's
So we're
crazy.
not going to do that one.
Yeah, think about the bottle cost on that.
Well, and then there's like ethical considerations going into it.
Obviously.
Yeah, so there's like all sorts of problems with it. And I was like, man, that'd be cool, but we're not going to do that from the cost perspective, but then also from like the ethical issues of there's not a ton of those trees around, and then also there's it's some really poor places. So so that would be the one that if I could do it ethically and get the price down, I think it'd be fun. So does that kind of answer that
No,
question?
that's a completely honest answer, and I love it.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I learned
that's
something
awesome.
new today. So yes, that's good stuff.
And you know what I love about Jared is that we're bringing this this research perspective. We're bringing this. We need to be able to, number one, replicate everything that we do. So you don't want flavor drift. You want a product that's the same today as it is next year. And then there's also the art of bourbon. The art of bourbon, it's not black and white.
No.
We see variations, but you can bring a research perspective to what we do and then marry that to the art of bourbon. I love it. I think we have the best of both worlds with Jared.
I think it's a good combination.
No, it's really that's
It works.
when I saw, and we had previously talked, and you were talking about Jared and him coming on and all of these things. Like, that's just something you don't hear a whole lot about, and it's got to get you excited about being in like the whiskey community and seeing somebody like this come in and can do so many different things. And because it's not black and white, but there's not a whole lot of innovation either. So I mean, you're definitely on something that is just not seen a
5
lot.
years from now, you're going to start a whole movement. There's a whole bunch of wood doctors going to.
I want to get that.
You're going to start a movement, man. I love it.
I could say right now I only know 2 or 3 other
The
people
Galahue
that did.
School of Wood.
At the University of Kentucky.
The forestry department would love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a couple other people out there that kind of have a knowledge of wood. There's 2 of them that work at Independent Stave Company, and then one guy, he wrote a lot of it out of Oxford, actually.
Okay.
And then he promptly never did anything else with it, and is now a professor that studies wine in the,
Oh.
the University of Essex.
Well, all right.
So he went, cool, doing something else now.
Yep, I'm done with that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a specialized knowledge base for sure.
So when you were here last, we talked a little bit about the distillery and the experience that you are opening in Lexington. Is that up and running yet, or?
It is very close. We're going to be open. We think, and Jared's our project manager over that, and so it looks like we're going to be sometime around April.
Awesome.
And we're on the Bourbon Trail, so Lexington,
Yes.
Kentucky is a gateway sponsor. We'll be open in April, and you'll be able to come in. You'll be able to, Dr. Wood is going to be in a lab coat. He'll be in his VIP lab. You can come in. You can nerd
Such a
out
shame.
on different wood finishes, and we'll have great tasting experiences. We're going to have a wonderful cocktail bar. We'll have a speakeasy, and that location, it's in the Commons Lex, so it's on Main Street in Lexington. And we'll have an indoor-outdoor amphitheater, 2,000 capacity amphitheater that, when you look at what's happening right now in Kentucky and on the Bourbon Trail, and Bucky, I know you were just up there in Tennessee and Kentucky. It's more experiential, So it is important to go and see how is bourbon made, but then consumers want to have that experience, So that coming in, maybe doing an advanced tasting experience, maybe combining entertainment with bourbon. We call it the Napification of the Bourbon Trail, for a reason. It's that experiential piece, and so we believe that our new brand destination is going to provide a wonderful experience for folks, and we're looking forward to meeting lots of consumers from all over the country and the world in Kentucky, and then of course Jared and Barry's going to go out on the bourbon tour, and we're going to be meeting lots of people from all over the country.
You already rack up the freaking flyer miles.
Yeah. I love it.
Treat you like a VIP at this point.
Well, it's kind of funny. One of my friends, Ken Hemingway, said, "Are you flying the plane this time?" When I was coming down, and I said, "Well, they're letting me ride shotgun because the last time I did a G-force inverted maneuver, and I scared some of the passengers. So they will let me ride shotgun, but no longer am I able to fly the plane."
In that case, what I hear from it is if you keep hanging out with him, you're going to be the goose to his maverick.
That didn't end well for Goose.
It did That's awesome. That didn't end well. No. Be careful.
So you've got the core 4.
Yep.
It's straight bourbon, the Amberana,
Yep.
the maple and oak,
Oak and maple, and
and
then
maple.
French oak.
and then your French oak
Phenomenal.
finish.
Yeah.
That maple oak.
It's still my favorite.
Yes.
I'll say it every time.
And it makes a great old fashioned. The flavor profiles that you get with that oak and maple, it's definitely maple on the aroma, but it has this wonderful butterscotch and then this pecan note that really work well in an old fashioned. So you don't really need that much simple syrup. In an old fashioned, typically it's a half or quarter to 1. You can minimize that amount of simple syrup, but then augment. We've seen a couple of people that yesterday we had some guy come by and talk about toasted marshmallow syrup.
Oh yeah, was that the cocoa syrup or cocoa bitters?
Cocoa bitters oh man, I'm like, I've got to get on Amazon and order that in and make it. Yeah, it's going to be fun. But then I think you're kind of leading on what's next.
Right.
So
you stick with the core 4.
Jared,
Is there another?
What's
is there
next?
a core product? Is there a core product that could be added to that core 4, or is it going to be more along that LTO line? Or
Well, we definitely have some fun new woods planned for LTO, but we really take our time on that because we want to make sure that whenever we put one of these out, these new woods, they're ready for prime time. So that means that we have an idea about what it's going to take to finish it. We have got the supply chain figured out. So one of the things is with some of these unusual woods that I'm pulling in, we're building our own supply chain. And I'm talking to farmers in other parts of the world that are growing these trees. And sometimes I'm having to use Google Translate.
Nice.
I had a hilarious one. I bought something from a country in Central America, and I expensed their receipt, and it was like 40,000, whatever their currency is, and they were like, they had a heart attack in the office. They're like, "You spent what?" And I was like, "No, it's like $30."
Yeah, it translates differently.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Calm down.
Yeah,
The exchange rate. Let's.
Yeah, well, they had never seen that currency unit before, and I
Yeah.
hadn't either. So,
Right.
So we're working on those, and part of it is we really put the time into it, and we also, when we put it into the bottle, we're also paying attention to the proof and what proof we think gives you the optimal experience. So everything from like how it feels when you drink it to the sensory capacity, we pay a lot of attention to that aspect of it. And these new woods can be unwieldy. You know, sometimes we talk about how sometimes we find a winner and sometimes it's a dog, and it's a real dog. You know,
Wow.
we've had on our tasting panel some notes that were more akin to Baijiu than whiskey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not a pleasant characteristics.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So are you working with like a barrel broker, or are you just finding these things on your own? Are you working closely with like somebody like Kelvin Cooperage or ISE or?
We are out, so some of the newer things, we're outside of their wheelhouse of that.
Right. I would think so.
Yeah, like wildly out of their wheelhouse. So in the case of like our really radically new stuff, it's me buying the wood directly from a source, bringing it in, toasting it in the oven that we have, and then building the wood inserts that we use ourselves. So it's all hand done.
So you're doing just like stave, as far as like testing and things like that.
yeah,
Are you
so-
just doing? You're not building a full barrel.
No, because with RD1 we do use our wood technology where we add
Right.
it through the bong, and then it's just a continuation
Wood
of that.
technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
I like it.
Well, at one point a barrel was the peak of wood technology.
Right,
It
exactly.
was
Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah.
So, and with that, you know, we're pushing the envelope, and when you do that, you are the one that has to build the plane in that case.
Right.
So we're doing that. So it's not uncommon for me to get this, you know, the analytical scale out, weigh out the wood, and then, you know, put it in the toaster oven or convection oven, and then like sit there and like stare at it. And I'm just like, don't catch on fire.
I was
Don't
like,
catch on
that's-
fire.
he said-
Don't-
He's got a
He said
toaster. He
toaster
pushes
oven.
it down,
Wait a
and the
minute, I got
wood
one.
pops back.
I can do this myself. But no, so I have a two-part question.
Oh yeah.
And one part of it is completely selfish. I pitched this to
gosh.
everybody.
All
I
right.
feel Barry's radical enough to run with this. So the first part, does RD1 have any plans to do like a triple oak? Because I noticed recently Angel's Envy unveiled their triple oak, which was American Hungarian, and you being a
Chinkapin.
botanist, you can help me with the pronunciation. God, words are hard.
Yeah.
Of this, I pronounced it Chinkapin because that's how it's spelt.
Yeah. I've always said it chickapin.
Okay.
That's what I
But
said.
I do want to make a point on the pronunciation. Is I'm from Appalachia, so I have no legs to stand on when it comes to pronouncing things from other
I'm from
countries.
here, and you hear how it comes
Yeah.
out. So.
When I was teaching, I used to tell the students, I'm like, just try your best. Nobody here speaks these languages.
I used the phonics method. I was like,
Right.
that's the one I'm going with. Okay, so yeah, that's the first part.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you could do a triple oak, what oaks would you use to do a triple oak?
Oh,
I feel being a botanist, you'd have a really good, different concept than what Angel's Envy just unveiled.
you know, I've been exploring kind of this broader idea in my notes where it's not changing the species like they did. So what they did was they had 3 different species of oak.
Right.
I was more interested in the idea of exploring the same species but different terroirs. So different growth mediums, different places.
Okay.
So to get like nerdy for a minute,
Always.
French oak is basically, we designate it because it's grown in France, but it's the same species that you would find in England, Ireland, and
Okay.
most of Europe, even up to the Nordic countries. And there's a fun story about the one of those Nordic countries where they planted a forest for their navy right before steel ships came about.
Interesting.
And then in the 1980s, their head of forestry came up to their parliament and said, the forestry would like to report to the naval secretary their trees are ready for boat building.
What about that?
Yeah. So I would really like to get some like wood from these like wild forests from around, and then be able to tell those kind of interesting stories and really explore that kind of terroir blend. When it comes to like individual oak species, I'm still kind of getting a feel on how some of those perform. They all have their own unique characteristics. They manifest differently with adding them directly to the barrel versus building a whole barrel, because you get into actually like the wood's structure when you build a whole barrel versus just the extractive element. So does that answer the question?
That does.
Yeah.
Second part, Barry's gonna love this.
Oh.
Yeah.
I pitch this to everybody.
Here we go.
I need somebody to take their malted barley, whatever they use in their mash bill, but I need them to smoke it with cigar leaves to make a true bona fide cigar batch. You are a botanist. Please help me with this. Some way, somehow, I'd take a bullet for you if we can figure it out.
You can plead the fifth.
Well, if we want, we can walk through it. What that would, I think it would do.
Okay.
So we do play with some smoke.
Okay.
We've got actually for our master class and in our tasting room, we have a smoked oak and maple.
Okay.
And the way I did that was actually I burnt my research from the University of Kentucky when I left, because it was all these barrel staves I had laying around, and I was like, well, don't need these anymore. And
Big bonfire.
Here we go. That's it. So I threw it in the smoker I have at home, and then actually smoked our wood insert for our oak and maple. Now, if we were to do what you're suggesting, the issue you would run across for burning tobacco leaves, it might come off unpleasant, because smoke can be really hard to deal with inside of alcoholic beverages.
Well, the whole reason this idea came about is because my man down there in the inn is a sucker for a Kentucky fire-cured cigar. And I know the way they do that, they set a fire, they suspend the leaves, they smoke the leaves that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what sparked this whole madness rabbit hole.
Because, you know, they
12 feet deep.
dry the barley with peat moss in scotch. And so it was kind of, what started out as that conversation led to Roy going, can you do that with
Can you do it?
tobacco leaves? And I was like, there's got to be something there that would lean, because tobacco and alcohol, obviously you can't mix. Then you've got this weird tight house issue, I think, and then not real sure how that would, I don't know.
Yeah, the regulatory on that would be challenging. And I know the tobacco production system, so whenever I was in grad school, I was in a 4-pack office, and the guy behind me actually worked on dark-cured tobacco.
Okay.
The guy back and to the left of me was a wheat breeder, but now breeds marijuana.
Okay, cool.
Which medicinally is legal in the state of Kentucky.
Well, for him, he moved to California. So he's out in California now.
It's super legal there.
Yeah.
Recreational.
Yeah, we were a super fun group.
That's an interesting 4-pack to be sitting
I'm
in.
telling you.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you what, we will make sure to bring you all a sample of that smoked oak and
I'd be
maple.
very
So maybe
interested.
does that kind of hit the wheelhouse of what you're looking at? Because
I feel that's the closest so far that I've heard of, is that would be the closest that I've heard of.
Smoke is really hard to
Because,
work
let's
with.
be honest,
Yeah.
okay? Joseph Magnus, it's a good whiskey, but it's not a cigar blend. I need them to take it off the label. It's not. It's not working.
yeah.
Yeah, it could be interesting to try. I mean, we would probably do a wood insert rather than a malt. I would be interested to see how that would taste, because I would wonder if it would kind of give you reminiscence of like an ashtray.
His gears are just spinning right
Yeah.
now. Man.
Well, I've been playing with smoke because it really feeds into like our wood theme of like, well, we're using wood smoke, and you know what the cool part about being down here in Texas is that you guys already know that wood smoke can give you some great flavor with barbecue.
Yeah, mesquite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, mesquite. And,
I'm still working on getting, and I may play with it myself now that, especially now that you've mentioned you can do it in a toaster oven. I'll just cut it in the same shape of
I meant
bread.
confection of it is what I meant.
No, I'm cutting my wood into a shape of bread, and I'm just going to put it in my toaster oven.
Well, please do it outside.
When my wife says, "What are you doing?"
Toasting wood.
I'm going to tell her, "Well, Dr. Wood said I could."
You need to get him to write you a prescription
Right,
for it.
I can have a prescription for it.
Yes.
But I want it. So I'm working on a project where I took a bunch of Texas White Dog, stuck it into a small 5-liter barrel, and I'm calling it my Texas Heater project because it's all Texas White Dog. It's done. It was barreled during the Texas summer, so it was super hot. Now it's been super cold. So I'm working on that, and I'm not sure where the flavor profile is for me personally yet. But I've been thinking about doing a pecan wood finish because it's the state tree of Texas. So you have any thoughts? And has there been a pecan tree or pecan wood finish?
Jared?
Well, yeah.
Barry, you can talk too.
No. Jared is uniquely positioned to answer this question.
We have a few barrels of pecan wood finished in the warehouse, and I've been. It was funny is that we looked at it, and I looked at our notes from when we made it last time, and I was like, well, I don't need to get this one. It takes a while to get the character on it. But then Barry was poking me. He's like, hey, I need a sample of that. I need a sample of that. So now at this point, when I go into the warehouse, I was going to wait like 8 months on it before I even like tapped it. And he's been poking me so much. Now I just take 2 samples. I'm just going to drop it over to the office on Barry's
There you go, Barry.
So actually, that was one of the last samples I pulled before I came down for Christmas.
Yeah. And selfishly, I do want to see us continue to push that pecan finish because I would like to have state-specific expressions like the King Ranch of Old Forester. I'd love to see an RD1 pecan finish only available in the Texas market. Would love to see that. Nice. Love to have your all's input in it. But, the other thing that you had mentioned on smoking the barley and the grain is that, now we have an American single malt category.
Yes.
So that can kind of go into a few different areas, and smoking some of the barley before we actually distill it, you're going to get that carryover just like you are with some of the peated Scotch. So I'm excited about that category. I think that we have a lot of opportunity. And, I keep telling, Elbow and Jared, man, we got to get on this single malt, man. We've got to lay down some barrels and do some fun stuff with it. So,
It cracked me up when he said that because I made some American single malt for the University of Kentucky on research scale. And that was a nightmare project, man. It caused my still to puke. It just bubble, out the condenser.
It'll foam out.
And that was a fun project, but I just remember he was like, make American single malt. And I'm like, I don't really feel like mopping. I don't know if I want to do that, Barry. That was a hot mess.
But I do and everybody will tell you, I'm not a very big single malt fan, whether it's American single malt, Scotch, Irish, whatever the case may be. But one of the cool things about that category, especially with it becoming an official recognized category now, is you can completely age the American single malt in some of these different barrels, as opposed to you got to start in a new white American oak charred container. Well, you could do the whole life of an American single malt in a previous ale cask or a port cask or whatever, and see what those characteristics turn out to be, versus having to force the American oak into it first and then moving to a port or an Amberana or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that we have a category other than corn whiskey for used cooperage now.
Yep.
It takes about 60 to 80 years to grow an oak tree.
Yeah.
And if you take care of a barrel, you can get it to last 100 years. And why bourbon we're required to use the new barrel, and it is a staple of American whiskey production. We always need to be good steward of resources. And that's what's cool about our wood technology is that we can use less wood and still impart flavor, but then also I like to do things where I send our barrels off so I know they're being used again. So either with the breweries or wineries or cider mills, and then bringing them back in and giving us interesting products. But you're absolutely right. Being able to start in those for that class will be really exciting.
That's definitely something that's really cool. So what are you most looking forward to about this evening?
Well, I am looking forward to meeting up with my friends that
You mentioned Ken.
Yeah,
earlier.
Ken and
Kevin
Kevin
The
Hemingway.
Hemingways, we always shout them out every time.
You know, got to give a shout out to Big Chief. We did a bottle share the other night,
Yes.
and man, we had some good pours the other night. You know, the other thing I do want to talk about is that Longhorn Liquor. You know, what we're doing tonight, we're raising money for rare diseases, and you know, heartfelt message last night from Michael. And you know, we want to be good stewards and help support that mission. So along that, we are getting ready to launch a blackberry wine cast finish.
I've heard
RD1
rumblings
bourbon.
of this
We've got a
this
sample
bottle
of it,
and
so
barrel.
yeah, people, they should come. If you're watching this and you know you're looking forward to a couple of different pours, come by the RD1 table. We'll have some small amount of samples for that. You can, I don't know if they're going to have a pre-order available, but once that barrel lands here at Longhorn, it ain't going to last. So you want to get that bottle before. Otherwise, all you got's regret for not getting that bottle.
You missed.
FOMO is a real thing.
It
It is
Yeah,
a real
100%
thing.
real thing.
It
Well,
definitely
in
is.
this case, after we sold them this one, I was like, well, maybe I want to do another one. I just went back to the barrel broker. They didn't have it anymore.
Oh, wow.
So this is literally a one of one.
It's a one of one, the only one, you know, obviously in the Texas market, but in the U.S. market for RD1, it's a one of one. And
It's a one of RD1.
I see what you did there.
ba-dum-bum. Yeah.
So you were able to attend the sponsorship dinner last night. What did you think about that and the overall atmosphere? And
Wow. Well, all I can say is the food was off the. As always, you know, every time we come down to Texas, you know, the food's like number one for me. But you know, the top shelf pours. Oh my gosh! I mean, I'm hanging around drinking, you know, all of these allocated bourbons. You know, so Longhorn Liquor, number one. You know, very classy. And I think I saw some of those bottles back there on the Longhorn Liquor
Yes.
booth.
They
You know,
will
I'm
be
going to be
available.
telling Jared, I gotta do a little walk
Yeah.
around, a little walkie
I
walkie.
gotta
So
walk. My legs are getting stiff. Let me walk.
He's walking to the bar. It
yeah,
was
absolutely.
It was a great event. It was funny being next to Barry because he's like looking at the pour table and he's like, I want that one and that one and that one. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, super excited.
And you said you were doing a master class without giving too much away. Do you have a little bit of a preview of what y'all are going to be doing in that class, or?
Yeah, so we're bringing a Kentucky straight bourbon at barrel strength. It's actually my personal barrel, so I brought a bottle of that. I got a company called the Whiskey Council. It's a wholesale barrel company, but so I got a pick of that. You know, Jared just mentioned that, you know, he likes to take our used barrels and parcel them out to breweries and wineries. So we have a beer finish bourbon that we're going to feature. We also have our 10-year Kentucky Straight Bourbon finished in Amberana. We're going to be sampling that out. And then, of course, we're going to have the smoked oak and maple. So those four expressions, if you're fortunate enough to come to that masterclass, you'll get to taste those, and I may hold a couple of pours for you guys so you can sample those out too.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
it should
So I have some
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, God.
breaking news.
Uh-oh. What's the source on it? Can we reveal the source?
This does have to do with a different distillery, so if
That's
y'all
all right.
want to walk away, you can.
No. You know what? Here's the thing about you know, American whiskey and bourbon. We're all very collegial.
So Mike Williams, the owner of Longhorn Liquor, just walked up and said,
Well, yeah, I saw him do the corporate thing and be like, check your phone. I saw that.
we'll be holding an Old Elk masterclass in addition to a Four Roses
Wow.
and RD1 class. Not only is this a masterclass, you'll get to help pick a single barrel.
No way. That's huge for those people that are
Sample
in
some
that.
products that haven't been released to the public yet, and we'll be
Wow.
starting at 7 p.m.
Very nice.
Wow, that's so
How
cool.
freaking cool is that?
That's really cool. Can I give a little history about Old Elk
Yes,
and
please.
RD1?
Absolutely.
So RD1, registered distillery number 1, was called the Ashland Distillery in Lexington, Kentucky, and so Thomas McGibbon, first KDA president, and William Tarr owned the distillery, and then it was sold to Stoll and Veneta. Stoll and Veneta had a brand called Old Elk. So the Old Elk brand was actually owned by the RD1 back in the 1800s, early 1900s.
That's cool how it tied together like
I
that.
love that. So every time I see Old Elk, I always like to go over and pal around with those guys, and
Hey, technically I own you, so
I mean, I just want to say,
That's awesome.
love it.
So-
That's awesome.
you've kind of had a chance to see who's all out here a little bit. Well, there's not a whole lot that are setting up. I think everybody's getting really good at the setup thing, and
Yeah.
they show up later and later.
Right.
Is there anything from a distiller side of it, a distillery side of it, that you're kind of excited about trying, or like is there anything y'all would be like, man, I want to go over there and see what they're all about?
Well, I had a good laugh about the boot shining booth.
Uh-huh.
I
You mentioned your work boots last night at the sponsorship dinner.
Well, I came down here before this for Christmas with my family, and there was a funny conversation I had with my wife where I was picking which pair of boots to bring down, and I was like, do I wear my dress boots, my work boots, or my steel-toed boots? And I kind of wish I had brought my nice boots now. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked around and seen who else is going to be here, but usually I sneak away and do a little bit of seeing what everyone else is doing.
Well, here's what you do. You get your boots you have on today shine. You come back next year and get your dress boots shine.
If I got these work boots shine, they're rough looking, buddy.
That's going to be a job.
It's going to take them all day. I'll have to leave them and come back.
So, kind of not really a wood question or any of that. A lot of the debate, as far as like whiskeys or bourbon or whatever you want to say go, is Texas whiskey is very polarizing to a lot of people. Do you have any thoughts on the idea of Texas whiskey and our climate versus what y'all are doing in Kentucky? Or you tried a lot of Texas whiskey?
Yeah, I love Texas whiskey. Garrison Brothers, I'm always wanting that cowboy release, the hazmat version. I'm a high proof, uncut, unfiltered guy. So Texas whiskey, I mean, it's my jam. So I love coming down to the Texas market, or even when I'm out across the country, I do hunt those out. And you'd mentioned, what are we looking for here? What we're looking forward to tonight? Augusta Distillery. Matt Groves.
Augusta,
Yeah. So Matt is going to be here. He was in Houston yesterday. And man, if you get the opportunity to go over there, they're going to have some really cool stuff. I'd be surprised if they don't bring some of their hazmat bourbon. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to just going around and meeting folks and tasting what they have.
It's good for what y'all are doing, too, to see what other people have out there. And how does your Kentucky straight bourbon compare to theirs and all of the things? So, I mean, I would, as much as I'd love to sit here and just talk RD1, let's face it, you're a whiskey guy at the end of the day, right?
I'm a consumer just like you guys.
So, I mean, I don't feel like it's terrible to talk about, what you're looking forward to. And I love hearing your opinion on a lot of things. So, I mean, I'm excited to have y'all out here. I'm not
Thanks.
gonna lie to you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So, Jared and I are going to go to lunch.
Yes.
Any recommendations someplace close to here that we should try
Close
out?
to here, I don't even know what's close to here. Anything barbecues.
Anything?
If you can get, I don't know if
1701?
1701's open.
Is that
it's close, but I don't know if they're open on Saturday.
I know they were close, but
All right. So, Riverside Grill, they're 0.3 miles away.
Riverside Grill's good.
Truth Lounge and Bistro.
I don't know nothing
I'm
about
not sure about that one.
Richard's Cafe, 1701 barbecue.
So if they're open, I would,
If they're
and you're
open, I'd
and you're
highly- I
wanting
would
some
go to
Texas barbecue,
1701.
I'd probably
All
go
right.
with 1701.
Barbecue. All right, there you go, Jared.
That sounds good.
Sounds
I
great.
think the last barbecue I had was at Cooper's in Llano. So
Okay.
You can't go wrong with that.
yeah, that was.
That's a hill country staple, right? The Coopers in Llano.
Yeah.
So good.
That was. We were out that way, and that was. It's actually now an annual pilgrimage for us.
Very nice. Well,
I mean, anything's got to be better than Kentucky
If
barbecue.
you're in Austin,
Oh, my
I
gosh.
can recommend a new place in Austin. That we
If I don't talk
stumbled
a
on
little bit of
tonight.
crap, then what are we doing?
A little
right?
bit of smack.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, the folks in Owensboro, Kentucky will probably, they'll say, Barry, why didn't you take up we got mutton.
Well, it's fun.
I mean, you do have a wood doctor with you, so I feel like you could smoke some really good meat with some different woods.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I took up doing barbecue whenever I married my wife, who's a Texan.
Okay. Good
Well,
for you.
congratulations on
Yeah,
that.
he married up.
Yeah, I
You're
did.
Texas adjacent. We like that.
We
And-
accept you.
Well, thank you. I was joking the other day. If my flight gets delayed, I'm gonna have to apply for a Texas driver's license at this point. But yeah, so I've gotten into that culture of doing the barbecue at home, and I'd talk about it with my in-laws, and it's a very different
Yes.
way of doing it. My brisket's never turned out as good as it had done down here, but it's
It happens.
you got to really love something to spend 18 hours
Yes,
tending a fire.
absolutely.
Like,
You really do.
and I don't have one of
But
those
you
pellet grills.
mentioned the other day,
You don't have to spend 18 hours.
is it Ken? No, it's Kevin
Uh-huh.
that
Maybe
does
when
his
we're not doing this,
ribs
you tell me
I
about
have
it.
cheat
with
recipes.
the oak and maple.
He
Since we talked
spritzes
about
it, yeah.
he
The
spritzes
oak and
it.
maple, he spritzes that at the end. He made some again when we
so
came down.
good.
It's so delicious. I make a smoked pork belly, and I do the same thing. I spritz it with the oak and maple, and then I pair that with a peanut butter and maple sauce reduction, and then I have a pour of the oak and maple when I'm doing. I make myself hungry every time I talk about smoked pork belly. And Clint Duncan just said the place on Crockett Street is good. It's kind of a fancy restaurant. Jared, can we go to a fancy restaurant?
I don't know. if
Y'all
I'll
look
be in with
fancy.
my work.
Oh,
I
you
don't-
do. You are wearing work boots.
Yeah,
So
there's
he
paint
said
and stuff on
Truth
this.
is really good. The other place on Crockett Street, I think, what was that
Riverside, I
one?
think is
Riverside.
the one.
Okay.
That's the fancy one. So,
All right.
but yeah,
Thanks, Clint. Appreciate that.
appreciate you, Clint. But I appreciate y'all coming
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
I'm
I
looking
think-
forward to tonight. I think the master class is going to be a ton of fun. I've got some friends from Ohio that'll be in that class, so hopefully it
Oh,
goes
so cool.
well. But yeah,
Love it. All right.
well, your booth will be one of our first stops. I promise
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Looking forward
Right.
to tonight.
you. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jared, pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
The doctor is left the building.
The doctor of woodonomics instead of economics. Love it. That's
We're gonna work on this lab coat thing.
It's funny to keep letting me do the lab coat. I'm just like, whenever I was at the university, the lab coat was the nastiest thing in the lab.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's like, that thing's gross. I'm not touching it. That's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank y'all.
you,
Enjoy
Barry.
lunch.
Yes, enjoy lunch. Go get some barbecue.
Oh man. Oh, Clint will be in the RD1 class as
There you
well.
go.
That's
There you
awesome.
go.
Good.
There you go.
Sweet.
Yeah, I couldn't pull off early enough for the RD1 class.
Yeah, no. That would take a lot, especially with the limo and all that stuff.
Yes. Oh my goodness, do you want to try and send me a collab cam link? We want to walk around?
Yeah, we can do that, and actually that might work out perfectly because I need to step out for just a second.
Of course. Mr. Corporate.
Let's see. Collab cam, start collab cam, copy. So what's since there's a few extra people in the comments now, what is there any booths y'all are looking forward to seeing?
Yes.
How about that old elk thing, dude?
But, yeah, that old elk thing's a shocker. I'm gonna make my way up there for that. I'm gonna grab some people too. I'm gonna be like, hey, let's go do this.
There it is. I knew I had your email address somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there. Yeah.
Collab. Send. And away it goes.
And the way it goes, I'll be patiently waiting
It's coming, dog.
for an email to explode.
And I'm actually going to make us smaller. I'll put us in the Kona.
Oh, there we go. Let me clear out some of this other jazz. I don't care. I already got all the stuff that I ordered. I don't care about your FedEx stuff. All right. I'm going to break away.
You big. Are you in?
Not yet. Give me a second. I'm getting up right now.
No, have you, why don't you, oh. I was going to say, if you go ahead and join, I can get you up and running. And I'm going to step out to the restroom while you walk around. I'm going to make this big as I can. Sorry, y'all. Give us just a second. Give everybody a sneak peek of what is happening. Maker's Mark just rolled their stuff over. Like you said, My Lemon Green is setting up. I see some cowboy hats going up. Full bodied. Hang on one second. Let me get you shown on stream.
Yes, show me on the stream.
Close. I can still make you bigger because you're going vertical.
Of course, yeah.
All right, you're pretty big.
Very nice. Now let me see if I can switch the camera. Maybe. Okay. Front facing, back facing. Let me try the back facing camera. No, that's not it. Back facing camera. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. See, we're gonna do a little walk around. Ooh, Calumet. They got some good whiskey. Calumet's already setting up. How's it going? So Calumet's here. They're set up. Barry and his RD1, which that Ambarana is something really special, by the way. If y'all haven't seen it, you're going to have to bear with me because I can't see any kind of comments till Bucky is back doing what he's doing. This is the American Metal booth, and they've got some interesting looking stuff. Like, really interesting. We're just up close stuff. You got a 10-year over there somewhere. You got the guys at Giglio setting their stuff up. They've got the barman with their new endorser, Miss Lainey Wilson. Yes. And then all their stuff. Texas Shine. The boot shine people are right over there. That's always a plus. We've got one of my favorite whiskey companies, Green River, set up right next to Bardstown. That's amazing. We got the Whiskey and Sparkle people. Whoop, wrong way. There we go. Wrong way. There's their booth. Very nice. Very nice. Got a couple other booths that aren't quite set up yet. That's Woodinville. Yeah, their booth is extremely nice. I love this gimbal, by the way. I love when equipment works. Let's see what we got. JD and the boys from Penelope, along with Minor Cask and Yellowstone. Boy, that Penelope bar mat is gorgeous. Look at that. Interesting stuff. There's a Jack Daniels sighting with their big inflatable tent thing and the engraving band, so you can get something engraved by them. Here's the Sazerac with the tequila that they're going, Corazon tequila, the 4.6s, which I'm going to try. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but I'm going to try it anyway. Buffalo Trace. At the Brown Foreman booth, which is always a very nice booth in its own right. Look at that. Bucky's back in screen. I see him. Hey, so fill me in on some comments, my man, because I'm over here walking by the Longhorn booth right now. Yep, there's the Longhorn booth. That's the booth everybody's going to be at. They've got some very nice stuff going on. Southeast Texas Craft Barbecue. They're in Lave or Yave. Is that how you pronounce that? Ooh, that looks like a real interesting. Oh, that's a jalapeno tequila. I may have to try that. Bucky's not even paying attention to what I'm saying at all. Bucky, can you hear me? Yes, no, maybe so. He's not paying attention. Got Cutwater and all their RTDs that are ready to go. We got people rolling in on the backside. There's an Eric. There's some very nice stuff from Bandos. Look at that. We got some sweets. Ooh, I like sweets. Look at that. That's some sweets. Ooh, got some whiskey books. Got some olive oils that are infused. Is that a good? Ding. You, man, I forgot you were even here. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll definitely be out of your booth later. Yeah. Because this is some good whiskey. Very nice. Got some more people rolling in, setting up. Very nice. Everybody's good. We got the hat people in the house. They're going to be making hats. Their stuff is amazing too, by the way. Very much amazing. Yes, all the things. Very nice. Milam and Green. All custom handmade. I like it. Very nice. Got the Milam and Green. How's it going? Yes, very nice. Can you hear me at all? Okay. I asked if there was any comments going on, but you can't hear. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we're just gonna circle around, and that's where we're at right now. Not a whole lot of setup and stuff going on. So yeah, just be out here later. I'm gonna sign off this thing and join Bucky back on set now.
All right. Thompson said hello. Aw. Another Bingham hat.
I hope this one's bigger than last year.
I doubt it. I don't think it's gonna stay. So how was the trip?
Trip was good. Trip was very good.
Let's go back to scene and put us back. Man, I tell you what, look at that hat. Swagalicious. Ballin'.
Hey, this one does fit better than last year.
How about a little bit of Ryan Bing? You're losing weight in your head.
You laugh. I'm actually having to go into 3 notches.
Man.
You laugh.
Dang, look at you go with your head weight loss.
Wow. I keep this one on my kid like I did last year.
Right?
He's got the last year.
Hey, it's a cool looking logo.
Very cool. Very cool.
Love the fact that Bingham's Bourbon is sourcing Texas whiskey. It even says on the label, certified Texas whiskey. Thompson, man in a booth, is always great. Ton of fun. We're going to definitely stop by that booth and hang out with him a little bit. It's always good just to kind of hang out with a bunch of these people that we see out at all these events. And
I mean, it's just a credit to us. I mean, like, look at today, for example, man. Who would have thought we would have had Barry Brenniger, Brett Elliott, JD?
yeah.
I mean,
Eric. But no, absolutely. It's been this has been one of the funner shows. Like last year, I know we had Rick, and that was awesome to start out the show. But really, after that, we didn't really have. I don't think we had another guest, did we?
I don't think we did, no. 100%.
The first year was a ton of fun just because it was our first year.
Yes.
We had Still Austin on. We had a few people on, but man, it's so cool getting to talk to somebody like Brett Elliott and Barry Brenniger and Jared and sign my boobs.
I'm not even mic'd up.
Oh gosh.
I've been rambling for like 5 minutes and nothing. Straight nothing.
Oh, that's funny.
How about that? Anybody hear that?
So,
Get you some of that. You can get your custom hat, by the way, all handmade.
from where?
Down there at the hat people.
I did them hair hat people?
Yeah, I wonder how much. If theirs is cheaper than the wild hats that I follow on social media, I might
Get you one?
get me one. Yeah, I might get me one.
There's always been some nice hats
Yeah, I know what
and
I'm
stuff
doing
out
with this
here.
one when I get home.
Cutting that rope off?
Cutting that
Man,
rope.
you and that dang rope.
I don't like that rope.
All right.
Love the hat, don't like the rope.
We are approaching the 2-hour mark.
Yes, we are. 2 hours.
I do
in.
actually have to get back to work
Yes,
at some
I know
point.
You do.
Um,
Are you going to be allowed to help me break this down and pack up?
yeah, we'll
Okay.
get it, bro. I mean, it won't take but a second.
No, it shouldn't take long at all.
We appreciate everybody
Yes.
that has tuned in,
Thank you,
commented,
thank you.
everybody that has come on and been on the
Yes,
show.
God, thank you so much for those people that have come on. I mean, like I said, Brett Elliott and Barry Brenniger and Dr. Wood. I mean, those 3 alone are just like.
Yeah. So just real quick, if you're watching and you're going to be in the Four Roses or the RD1 class, the RD1 class should start around 3:45.
Yes.
So be here, I'd say about 3:30.
3:30. Yeah.
The Four Roses class will start at approximately 4:20.
Yeah, 4:20,
give or take.
4:30, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I would be here by 4:15.
Yeah, that's the plan.
When you get out of the Four Roses class, you will be able to come directly onto the floor.
Yay!
VIP will be open at 5 p.m. Be here. I'm freaking excited. Tonight's going to be so much fun. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
But,
I was listening to Travis Scott on the drive in. I'm definitely ready.
yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet. So, if you're ready to, I don't think we're gonna do.
No, I think we're just.
This is more of a first call. It's the pregame show.
Pregame show. It's a first call. Come out and have yourself a good time.
Yeah, I do believe there are
Raise
still.
some money for a good cause. Have yourself a good time.
If I'm not mistaken,
Drink
there are a
responsibly.
few general admission tickets left. If
Yes.
you're a last
Yes,
minuter,
I hear.
so
There are a few, not many, but a few.
absolutely. Say that again. Drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly, yes.
There are
have a good time.
There are plenty of services
Yes.
that can get you home if you need it, or
Yes.
friends,
Ooh,
or
speaking of, shout out to our service, Sitting Sideways Limousine Company out
Absolutely.
of Sparger, Texas.
yes.
They're gonna be taking care of us.
Super
well,
excited about
maybe.
that.
I don't know what you're.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with you
Yeah.
yet. We ain't figured that part out.
We're trying to figure that
We're
one
working
out.
on it. Working on it.
But yeah, if you're cool with it, I'm cool with
I'm
it.
cool
and
with
we
it.
appreciate everybody. This has
I'm
been
glad all the equipment worked. We got all
Right?
the kinks worked out. The
Yeah.
wireless.
that sounded really good.
Wireless sounded really good. I turned the volume down. Yeah.
But all right, cool. Let's wrap this thing up.
Did it.
We will see y'all tonight.
Yes.
This has been the first call, the pregame show for the third year in a row. We've been the Functional Gentlemen. Y'all been awesome. Let's cut it.
Get it.
My tongue, get what I deserve. Trendsetter, I got style for you. Ain't seen you at the top, it's been a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you. Take one loss, no one's around for you.